Hooray! It's a Christmas version
That's
of our
amazing.
It's really great, right?
Wow. Nice work, Nate.
I'm gonna go open some presents.
So good.
I'm full of spirit right now.
Yeah. So Nate randomly heard us just mention on the podcast that we're like, oh, we should have a Jingle Bell version of the song. He was like, okay, I'll just make one.
Love it.
So that was.
Do you feel the spirit? Does everybody feel it?
It's in us.
It's in us.
Not to get too far ahead, but I love the fact that our Christmas or your Christmas episode is based on an episode that kind of bonks on religion a bit.
That's true.
Yeah, true.
It's sort of like these superstitious idiots with their superstitious idiot traditions.
Yep. Merry
What have
Christmas,
I done
everyone.
to anger Santa?
Merry Christmas.
Yeah, Merry Christmas, everyone. It's not really a
Have we done
Christmas
things
episode.
to displease you, Santa?
Santa Picard, give me my gifts.
Hello.
Oh, that's a new voice. Who's that?
Oh, yeah.
What?
Yeah. Hey, everyone. We're Newbie Star Trek. We have a guest this week. We have Scott, who is a friend of mine and Sarah, who has met Sarah at work, right?
Yep.
That's
we
correct.
were war buddies.
That's a good way to put it. It's an excellent
Very
way to
much
put it.
so, yeah.
Welcome
Yeah.
aboard the Starship Newbie Star Trek.
Yeah, I
Yes.
love it. Thank you so much for having me. You can tell I'm very
it's
shy,
a-
so
it's
we'll
a-
see
it's
if I
a-
can get.
It's a real shit starship. Where it's kind of putting itself together as we move along.
And the authorities are already on their way.
Yeah.
Clearly.
Oh man, yeah.
They're coming to
I
get
do
us.
hear the authorities.
Oh no. But yeah, we have a guest this week, Scott. Also, if you're new to the show, hi, I'm Marvin. I'm here with Dan and Sarah and Ricardo as well. Hey guys.
Hi,
Hello.
I'm Dan.
Hello, I am Ricardo, the Ricardo.
Hi. I'm Sarah.
The Sarah.
The
Yeah.
Sarah.
Yes. And I'm Marvin. Up an atom, as is my catchphrase apparently.
Fuck.
You know, I had forgotten about that temporarily. I need to remember mine. I'll
no,
deploy it if I can.
Yours was
I know what it is.
You know the rules. And
I know what it is. Don't tell me my own
Yes,
catchphrase.
it's true. It's
Marvin.
true. You know the rules, and I guess
Yeah,
so
you
do
know
I.
the rules,
So-
and so do I.
Fuck. Anyway, this is Newbie Star
Hey,
Trek.
you're stealing Ricardo. What are you doing?
Dude, you're stealing my catchphrase, dude.
Oh. Oh no,
Dude, not cool.
Oh, not
Damn it,
cool.
dude.
Oh,
You sure your catchphrase isn't dude?
that's
Or
also
just fuck,
true.
dude.
Fuck, dude.
Just combine it.
Dude, where's my starship?
Fuck, dude.
Anyway, this is Newbie Star Trek. We're not really newbies anymore because Ricardo and Sarah have seen quite a bit of Star Trek at this point. But the
We're
premise
still
is
newbies. Look. If there's if all of the Star Trek episodes, whether it's this series or other series, are 100% right of a pie, we've only had a slice of the pie. Probably like less than a slice. Probably
A
like
sliver.
2 spoonfuls.
that's true. If you're counting,
Yeah,
all
there's
the
like
series,
726 episodes all told, I think. Or something like that. Like it's over
Yeah.
700 for sure.
They're growing because you have Lower Decks and Discovery and Prodigy are all currently.
Yeah, Prodigy's new too. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
the,
there you go.
the band that made that did that song. Smack My Bitch Up?
Yeah.
Is that them? Yeah. Apparently, according to Memory Alpha, there are 818 contained things of Star Trek, including movies.
How many?
Like 818.
Damn it, dude. It would have been
Damn.
cooler if it was 869.
Man, that's too many. That's
669.
illegal.
Yeah, well, we'll take.
all
We'll take
Here
all
the
the cops are
authorities
coming
again.
because it's
They're coming.
illegal.
They're on the way.
Yeah.
That's the ambulance that you guys just heard.
Yeah.
Just hit you.
Oh boy. You know what? This week we watched Who Watches the Watchers. Since Scott specifically wanted to come on for this episode, or this was one of 3 episodes he had picked out, but
it was one of a few. Yeah, I didn't go through the entire list, but yeah, just to kind of throw a couple episodes Sarah's way as an interest, and this one is of particular interest to me. So yeah, I'm happy to.
Yeah, I mean,
participate.
It's actually a particular interest to me as well because as we were watching the first 2 seasons of TNG, we were kind of getting annoyed by Prime Directive episodes. But then I was telling Dan and Ricard, I was like, look, there's actually a Prime Directive episode later that I think is actually a good Prime Directive episode. Like, it makes sense as a Prime Directive episode.
Kind of.
Well, now that you've seen it,
let's see. I still got a problem with it.
Yeah,
it's not perfect. I mean, but it's if you're gonna do a Prime Directive episode, I think this is the way to approach it more than fucking the Wesley one where he falls on flowers. You know, so
like I don't want to get too much into that discussion right now, but I will say right away that probably the worst thing about this episode's handling of the Prime Directive is the fact that there were the other Prime Directive episodes before it.
Yeah, I mean,
that's like the worst thing about it.
I guess it's like a continuity issue more than it is
because it feels like they're handling it differently this time than they did before.
To be fair, though, they handle it differently every time.
Yeah,
true.
It's very elastic.
But I guess the problem is like you tell is like, oh, this is the good one, and it's just another one to add on to the mess now, to me, in my mind.
I guess so. Well,
it's like if this was the only interpretation we got, then I would have been like, oh yeah, this makes sense. It's fine. But the other stuff happened first.
Well, all right. Okay. Well, listen.
But sorry, I didn't want to get too far into it right away.
Here's what we'll do. We're gonna go around the sun because this episode first aired on October 16th of 1989. So Dan, let us know what happened around that time.
Well, around that time, starting from October 11th, the Atari Corporation released the Lynx handheld system, which was the first 16-bit handheld console and also the first with a color LCD screen. It was also said to be the first gaming console with sprite scaling capabilities. That's like that squash and stretchy stuff on pixels. And it even had a backlight. All those wonderful features weren't cheap, however, because it sold for an initial MSRP of $180, which is like $380 now. So, despite its impressive specs in comparison to the Game Boy, which was already out for a few months, we all know that the Game Boy came out on top because it cost half of what the Lynx did and had a better gaming library. No Japanese developers.
Wait, so it was all just American games?
Yeah, the Atari Lynx just had like Atari games and shit, so...
But didn't Atari have like Japanese games?
Well, the thing was, anything that you released on Atari had to be ported and redeveloped by a Western studio. So it's like they had like Pac-Land or some shit, and there was only 76 games on the entire platform at the end of its life at like 98.
I see. Okay.
Yeah. But that's not all in-game hardware, because 3 days later, Sega launched the Genesis nationwide. It had already been available in Los Angeles and New York since August, though, and also it was in Japan available as a Mega Drive since the previous October. But that's when it got to America. But speaking of New York, on October 13th, our New York's representative, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, was born on that day.
AOC.
Yeah, there you go.
AOC.
So hey.
All right.
Then, around the weekend, we saw the release of Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers. It didn't do so hot. People don't really care that much for it.
No.
Moving on. Same weekend, we also got Look Who's Talking. It's a crazy-ass movie that famously kicked off with the Beach Boys music blaring over a bunch of sperm, partying their way over to an egg in Kirstie Alley's womb.
Okay, so that did happen.
Thereby conceiving Bruce Willis, who plays a fetus, who becomes a baby, and then proceeds to have adventures while his single mom, Kirstie Alley, tries to stop making horrible life decisions.
Okay, so I hadn't rewatched that movie, so I wasn't sure if that was a real sequence or I'd imagined it, but I guess that really is a thing.
It happened in the sequel, too.
This is different than Baby Geniuses, right?
Yeah.
Do you remember Baby Geniuses?
Much different.
Did Baby Geniuses also start off with sperm?
No, I don't know.
I don't know.
If
it did, that was
Geniuses
such a ripoff. Well, it spawned a sequel, Look Who's Talking 2, and then eventually Look Who's Talking Now. Yeah, it was Kirstie Alley, in both films. But yeah, Bruce Willis is an illegitimate offspring. He is a product of infidelity.
Who comes up with this?
Really? Is that wait? That's a plot of that movie? That he's
Yep.
And Kirstie Alley, future star of Star Trek 2 movie.
Oh yeah, that's true.
It's in the family.
True.
Yeah,
She was also the Tooth Fairy in a made-for-TV ABC movie.
That's true.
Also
It's all
extremely
connected.
I don't know why I
relevant.
remember that.
It all connects.
Thus concludes our trip around the sun.
All right, thanks.
Thanks
Dan.
for playing, everyone.
Yay.
Woohoo!
Well, you know what also plays really. Actually, let me just explain right now. So, there's a bunch of shit we just cut out of the podcast. Or future editing Marvin did. It's because Dan was having massive internet issues, and
Oh boy, am I.
Okay, I can't give ExpressVPN full credit, but it seems better now that he's connected to ExpressVPN, and I can't 100% confirm that.
Let's just say it fixed it.
I can confirm that Dan or Common were watching porn on ExpressVPN. They're being safe.
Yeah.
And then they were trying to podcast at the same time. But ExpressVPN could
Hey guys,
handle.
do you mind? Trying to have a moment here.
Very good, very good. Well, okay. Here's a legitimate PSA about ExpressVPN. So, has everyone heard of Log4Shell?
Mm-hmm.
So has you guys heard of it? The Log4Shell thing?
Only from you earlier today.
Yeah.
So
It's all in the news. Scott, have you heard of it? What's going on?
I sadly have not. I was working.
Oh
all
my
day,
gosh,
so
Marvin, you must
Anybody
explain.
knows about Log4Shell.
Oh,
There was
please.
rain in Los Angeles. I couldn't think of anything else.
Okay, so basically, it is a vulnerability in JavaScript, which means pretty much anyone who knows how to access that vulnerability can basically log into any server they want and just fuck with it. It's already been fucking with Minecraft servers, and pretty much every internet service you can think of is affected, from Google to Apple to Amazon, all these services. And
in fact, it's a wonder that you're able to download this episode.
I mean, it's legitimate. Like a bunch of internet security experts have said this is maybe the worst security leak ever in the history of the internet.
Yes.
Wow.
A 10 out of 10 security issue.
We
and
did
guess
it,
what? Guess what? ExpressVPN created a hot fix right away. So if you connect to ExpressVPN, you're actually protected from Log4Shell. And at the time of this recording, they're actually the only VPN to do that. So that's pretty cool, right?
Amazing.
That's very cool.
It's actually one of the reasons I like ExpressVPN, because I personally use it, and Dan's using it right now, legitimately.
Yeah, so everyone shut up. You don't have to understand it. Just buy ExpressVPN.
Yes, just do it. You'll protect us. Thank us later.
Look up Log4Shell ExpressVPN. It's like a real thing.
You can look it up later. Just sign up right now.
What's our link?
Yeah, to go to expressvpn.com/newbie Star Trek, and if you go right now to that link, that'll get you an extra 3 months for free if you sign up for 12 months. That gets you a total of 49% in savings, which is a pretty damn good deal.
Yeah, just the other day, I checked and made sure that URL is actually working. It is.
It's working.
Yeah.
It is working. So
I can personally verify.
Yeah, so that's it's expressvpn.com/newbie Star Trek. Thanks, ExpressVPN.
Stay safe.
Yeah, you gotta
Thanks,
stay safe.
ExpressVPN. I don't usually think ExpressVPN. I feel like I should.
It's actually working right now. So
yeah, see, it fixed it.
Yeah, hopefully it's helping.
It cleared away all the Log4Shell. And there you go.
No, so like legitimately, I'm hoping it helps smooth out the connection a bit, because right now, just a little inside baseball for listeners, Dan's having some connection issues because Los Angeles can't handle, or the West Coast can't handle rain. So where it was raining near where Dan's living too, it wiped out his internet. So right now he's basically going into our remote podcast recording session using his phone, and it's barely surviving.
I can't believe I have to use my phone to communicate with people.
Oh man,
it's like the Dark Ages.
So it's hopefully, I think it was getting fucked up. I think Dan's okay now. I think it's he sounds smooth.
Don't say that out loud, man.
I think we're currently in a stable bit, so we need to get going.
We have to pray to the Picard to make it through this episode.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
pray with us, everybody.
All praise to the Picard.
Yeah, all praise to the Picard to get us through here.
Well, you know who didn't pray hard enough and thus died?
Ricardo, could you please tell us what happened in this episode?
Yeah, I can. And I will.
I mean, I never saw Tasha pray to Picard once.
Not once, dude.
Not even once.
Not
She did find him
once.
attractive in one episode, randomly.
Yeah, she was.
It's not prayer. You don't look at a picture of Jesus and go like, "Oh yeah."
Some people do. I'm sure some
I know,
people
but
do.
you don't talk about those people.
She left Data, that virtual like little statue thing. We don't know what she gave Picard.
That's true. Maybe she gave everybody and she had a crush on a little thing.
A little
and
extra, a little extra something.
Yeah, Picard's very private, right? So you didn't like show it off,
That's right.
So anyway.
He kept his shit together, dude.
My brain just said she gave an NFT that only he could have.
It's the same
Don't
statue
buy
pose.
NFTs, you idiots. Don't ever buy an NFT.
It's the same hologram pose, but she's like holding like a can of Coke or something. Just like every NFT.
No, it's
Yeah.
her holding a picture of a goddamn ape.
Oh my god,
Jesus.
it's funny.
NFTs,
no.
everyone.
God damn it, tease, dude.
I wonder
They're
if
the
this reference to NFTs will be relevant in a year.
Yeah.
No.
Probably not.
Probably not.
No.
Hey man, this show's all about being a bit of a time capsule,
Yeah.
or at least the trips around the sun are.
Yeah.
Like Friendster was
like
probably pretty hot.
we
wasn't
are
it?
a future destination for future sun trippers.
There you go.
Goddamn VPNs. All right, so here we go. Strap in, guys. This is a goddamn Prime Directive episode.
Your favorite.
Ooh.
Yeah.
First of all, god damn it, dude. I'll tell you what. We've been at this for 3 seasons now. We're at the beginning of the 3rd season, and you're right. This episode wasn't terribly bad, but it still had a lot of problems.
I'd say the problems aren't Prime Directive related.
Yes, they are. Directly.
Oh,
Directly, dude. Directly.
Yeah, sit down.
Prime directly.
All right, I want to hear this. I want to hear this.
Well, I think the problems with this episode will unfold, but let's start off by saying that I discovered a few things. One was that I'm currently maybe trying to get a hold of a way to watch this in the way the Picard intended. Which is because I was thinking, because I was watching it today. I bought a newer TV maybe like a month ago or so, and I was watching it on Netflix, and it looked some scenes look beautiful, like the outdoor scenes look amazing, but then the indoor scenes, some stuff looks a little weird, and I thought I'm watching this in a format that it wasn't watched like this. You know what I mean? It was watched on the tube TV.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So
Sure.
like I feel like I'm not getting this is a stupid thing, like a stupid fucking like vinyl thing. Like, oh, I must listen to music on vinyl. Like I do and you do,
Did
Marvin?
you convert all of Netflix streams into VHS, Ricardo, and start watching?
No,
VHS?
well, I'm just thinking like, should I get a tube TV so I can watch these episodes?
Oh, God.
Because I
Get a
feel like
radiation king.
I know. Because the only reason I was thinking about that was, and I wasn't high at the time, because this sounds like a really high thought.
Okay.
Is that like some of the special effects, some of the stuff is hidden within like what the resolution you're watching.
Oh, for sure.
is.
Yeah, for sure.
So I feel like
definitely.
it exposes more errors or any little like blemishes that I'm not. It's not hiding shit from me, which would be hidden if I had watched this when it originally aired on a TV. Like if I had the most state of the art TV at that time, it still would have like hidden a lot of the blemishes.
That happens a lot with me when I'm watching the Blu-rays. You can see like seams in the carpet and there's threadbare in chairs and uniforms and stuff. And you're like, wait a minute, this isn't the future. This is Ross dress for less. What's going on?
My favorite is in like season 6 and 7. Like Patrick Stewart's kind of phoning it in a little bit. So like in some episodes, not every episode, but in some episodes. So you can see him sometimes just in the background when he's not talking, like just closing his eyes, not really like looking at anyone,
falling asleep,
or like slowly falling asleep. Which I don't bemoan him. He has been shooting for 6 seasons on a show that has like 16-hour days. I don't bemoan him, but it is funny. All these details you just don't notice on this. What the broadcast was probably like a 3060p stream. Like it was probably really tiny. So like I imagine that that is an interesting viewpoint, because I feel like watching it at HD is almost like for the fans sort of thing, because you get to see all the detail and like the what's it called? What were there? I'm so terrible with names. The
Okudas?
The Okudas. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that they basically shepherded the remastering of it, so it's supposed to be remastered, but it's authentic. So like they make changes that are just more of like fixes, like in the first episode where they change where the phaser laser comes out of, because they need to. Originally, it was coming out of the wrong spot, so they were like, "Oh yeah, now it's fixed." It's
like the Hobbit in 60 frames. The more you make it look real, the less you're get invested in the story.
Well, you lost me at the Hobbit, dude.
But I was making a point about how it did a bad thing.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, he's right.
I redeemed myself.
You're right.
It did a very bad thing.
It's a trigger for me, dude. It automatically puts me at a 10 anger-wise.
Was the Hobbit at 60 or was it 48?
Here's the thing.
It is probably. I think it was. You're probably right. It was probably at 48. I think
60 was still too much.
Yeah, 60 came out just too many frames.
If you're gonna go high, then you overshoot it. You go 69 frames per second, and that fixes it. You know what I mean? Like you don't half-ass it at 40 fucking whatever, 48, 42. You go all the way to 69. Then really,
you know who loved The Hobbit? Gamers.
Yeah, they love it, dude.
Gotta get that high
it must have been
rate.
so devastating for the visual effects artists in The Hobbit, because they were like, okay, we have to work literally twice as hard, because it's literally
really
twice
like holy shit.
Frame. Yeah.
And then everyone hates it. So, it's all this extra work.
Soap opera.
Yeah. Oh man. Oh.
Damn it, dude. But anyway, we went on a tangent there. But I think I'm the purist in me is saying like maybe you should watch this not on a 4K TV that has like 120 refresh rate. I don't know. So
it's
something
fine.
I
know
know
eventually get to a point where you're watching like episodes with reconstructed commercial breaks.
Yeah. I'm
you
like,
find someone's tapes.
I know,
oh, man.
Someone listener out there is going to be like, I have the tapes. I recorded every single fucking episode, and then I'll be like, let's digitize those babies and send them to me.
Oh, of course.
That might actually be like a wonderful watching experience. Actually, to see the commercials from around that time too.
Yeah, you wouldn't need to go around the sun anymore.
Yeah.
In fact, if somebody out there really has that, look, we don't have to do all of them, but I'd like to see at least maybe like a season opener or a season finale like that. So if you actually have tapes like that you recorded, I could digitize them. So let me know. Man, reach out to me.
It might actually be badass for the season finale of season 3, because I feel like I think they had like.
I mean, to be fair, I could literally watch it. I have a VCR here. I could literally watch it on my VCR. So,
damn,
nice.
Because I've been digitizing like old family tapes. So,
gotcha. Yeah.
So I could watch it in that resolution if we need to. So, listeners, let me know, dude. Make it internet. Make it so.
Up and at 'em, internet.
Yeah. Fuck. All right. So the episode starts off, and we've got to. Again, somebody's in peril. We're never just hanging out. I want an episode where we're just like nothing's happening, and it's like, you know what?
Day in the life.
It's like it's been a week. Nothing's happened. We're not picking anybody up. No one's in danger.
To be fair, initially all they're doing is dropping off a battery. So like it's not like a peril thing. It's more of like, hey, we could use a battery. Can you come by? And, it's like me dropping something off at your apartment. It's not
right. Things do unravel from a routine, like
but things really spiral out of control really fast. Like you at a certain point, like Starfleet has to go. Is this fucking ship cursed? Like everywhere they go, like some shit happens, guys.
It's like almost every week there's a problem with this crew.
It's crazy.
It was kind of fun.
They just don't have any problems during Christmas time.
There's a weird couple. There's 2 months off in the summer where nothing really happens.
It is kind of fun in that first season when they were like they had the IRS style Like they're coming in to evaluate how the ship is doing, and they're like, "You guys are, there's a lot of shit happening."
Give them an audit.
An audit. Yeah, they got audited basically. And they're like, "Why is all this happening?" And then at the end, there's no real explanation. They just go, "You did a good job," and they walk away.
It doesn't actually matter. I'm actually an alien parasite.
Yeah. All right. So they're helping some people. Some. It's like a group of. I call them peeping toms, dude. These fuckers are peeping toms. These guys are. They're watching.
Described as proto-Vulcan.
Yeah, it's a race of Vulcan people that they're kind of like secretly watching. If you really
sorry, I want to ask a question real quick.
Go ahead.
Sorry. For those who are familiar with Star Trek, I want to know this: Romulans and Vulcans share a common ancestor, right?
Yeah,
correct.
Apes.
With this common ancestor,
with pointy ears, apes with pointy ears. Yeah. Come on.
Yeah. There were two types of apes on Earth back in the day.
Yeah.
I just want to know, like, is this proto-Vulcan? Why do they specifically say proto-Vulcan as opposed to proto-Romulan?
I think they're following an evolutionary path that's similar
closer
to Vulcans.
Okay,
yeah.
so
I think that's all that means.
It's little. Yeah. Okay, so not
kinda
as far
like
back as
kind of like how on Earth there's like a weird evolutionary path that seems to turn everything into crabs. But that's like a product of Earth's environment.
Wait, Scott, can you tell me what a Vulcan is? I don't know.
So it's, who Mr. Spock is?
I just know what Spock is. Mr. Spock.
You know who Leonard Nimoy is?
That's the person that does. I'm not trying to like the hand thingy.
Yeah,
right?
he's throwing gang signs all the time.
The V with your hand is the Vulcan,
which I cannot do.
salute.
Which I don't understand how people do it.
I can only do it easily with my left hand.
Yeah. Sarah, I watched Sarah struggle to do it for 5 minutes.
So what is a Vulcan?
Scott, we have a question. I have a question.
Okay.
Before you answer, this is part of Sarah's question that I'm going to yes and her. The finger, is it tucked? Is it, you know what I mean? The thumb, is it tucked in when they do the Spock thing?
I don't believe so.
I don't think so. No.
Oh, okay.
No, they usually have it open, and the most famous is when he does it on the glass, and that's definitely open.
So it's essentially it becomes like a 3-pronged hand salute.
Oh.
So you got your thumb, your index and middle finger, and then your ring and pinky finger.
Like the shocker kind of.
A little bit, sure. Yeah, you could do some pretty good shocker moves with it.
Yeah,
100%.
I just can't is it just natural to people, or did you have to like train yourself? Like I can't do it.
No, my hand just works.
I think I tried.
I've been doing it so long.
Like I said, it's easier for my left hand than my right.
Scott's been shocking people for.
Yeah, I have been shocking since I was a preteen. So sorry,
game jamming and shocking people.
Merry Christmas, Scott, everybody!
I stepped over Sarah's question. What are these Romulan fuckers or whatever they are?
What are Vulcans?
Malakas.
What are Vulcans?
Well, like Marvin was saying, they're like proto-Vulcans, so they're following a similar evolutionary track that the Vulcans are. But I don't think I'd have to pull up a picture of them real quick, but I don't think
their Vulcans are a little messier.
Do they have pointy ears?
Yeah,
they don't have pointy ears. Well, I think their ears aren't like Vulcan pointy, but they're like mildly pointed.
They are pointy. They are pointy.
They tried to give them all like accented brows.
And they have the accented brows. So not to get too deep into what's going to happen later in the Next Generation and following seasons.
Don't tell us, dude.
They, in a very general sense, they kind of explain why everybody looks sort of human.
Why do they all look like they're at the Renaissance fair?
Like everybody sort of looks the same. Yeah. So it's far on down the road. So that's why they would run into a species where they go, oh, they're proto-Vulcan. So it makes sense to them. It's not like oh my God, there's these new like Stone Age Vulcans. They're like, oh yeah, they're just Vulcans, but from like 2,000 years ago or whatever.
But like, are Vulcans human?
No, Vulcans are Vulcans.
No, they're aliens.
They're aliens.
Okay. So Spock is half Vulcan and half human, but
that's part of his character.
Race.
Yeah.
So it's like a species.
That he's in two different worlds.
It's the Vulcans are an alien species, correct?
I like where that's
they're
going.
Not like humans. Okay.
No.
Right.
And the other thing you must know about Vulcans is that they are motivated entirely by logic.
Well, he said they're rational, right? That's the whole point of this episode.
So the thing with Vulcans, what happened with Vulcans, and Spock goes through this, and it's explained a lot in the original series and their movies, is that Vulcans are actually extremely emotional And so they purge that emotion. And so they become, because they choose to follow logic over emotion. And so that's why Spock is such an interesting character, because he's human and Vulcan. So he's got both.
So he's extra emotional
to talk.
Yeah.
So he's like his emotions. Yeah.
Like on a period emotional.
Sure.
It's more. It's more that he understands both sides. Whereas, like,
would you say? And I could say this because of my heritage. They're Mexicans, basically. Like, they're just fiery, dude. They're like, "What the fuck did you say, dude?"
Wait,
like, no, we have to be rational. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Hold on. Are you telling me that when Zachary Quinto yelled "Khan," he was just on his period?
Yeah. He's a Mexican period.
Yeah. Exactly.
As much as I love Into Darkness as sort of a movie as a whole, I try not to think about the specifics that I actually hate about that movie.
I'm sorry.
And that's not necessarily one of them, to be honest with you, but I think what they were trying to do, and by mimicking Wrath of Khan, is they ruined what could have been a good movie. But I digress.
I hear you.
Well.
And they all look like they're the Vulcans in this episode. They look like they're all going to the Renaissance fair.
They do, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they're at what would be comparable to our Bronze Age. So they've basically started building huts.
Okay, I not gonna lie, I was doing a lot of drugs in high school. What is the Bronze Age? Well, so I forget the ages.
The Bronze Age, if I understand it. So the Bronze Age, if I remember correctly, is the very first time humans started using metal tools.
Oh, okay.
And the first metal tool they started using was bronze, which was a bad metal to use.
Yeah.
But it's the first they could figure out how to use.
Okay.
So,
What are the ages? Now, I know we're going into a weird path here. When is the Age of Enlightenment?
Well, that's considered like the Renaissance.
Oh,
that's way later on. Although I think parts of the Renaissance are actually part of the Dark Ages. It's like weird. Like I don't quite fully know European history.
Yeah.
And the Silver Age is when Superman could shoot out little Superman from his hands.
Ooh.
That was one of his powers at the time.
And he was wont to put Lois in danger for fun.
Teach her a lesson for trying to make him marry her.
Yeah, it's true. You should have married him.
Just cut off her oxygen supply and see how she feels.
He's like, that's how I feel emotionally. You piece of shit. So, all right, back to the episode. Sorry, guys. This is what happens with these episodes. We ask one question, and one question turns into 69 questions.
Mm-hmm.
All right, back to the episode. So they have to go. These dudes, these peeping toms, are studying these fucking Malakas people. Malakans, sorry,
Mintakans.
Yes, and
I want to do that a bunch on the episode. Because I love the mispronunciation.
And so they're peeping on them literally, and it's, for some reason they need a battery, and then Geordi shows up and he's like, these people need 4.21 gigawatts, and they're like, why would they need that much power? And he's like, because they want to do some time travel, dude. They got a DeLorean in that planet. They want to do some time hopping. And then he's like, oh, I realize it's for the holograms.
Yeah, why did they make Geordi guess about that, by the way?
Yeah, well,
it's like, we need you to make these parts, and then come up to the bridge when you're done. And they're like,
sometimes Picard's kind of a jerk with not sharing information.
I know, I don't like that.
like last episode where they were like, or wait, what was it? Was it the last episode, or was it the episode where it was the last episode, those survivors, where Riker comes in and is like, okay, Captain, I know you have a plan with these survivors. What are you doing? And he goes, yes, I do have a plan. And he tells him nothing.
Is it his way of getting back at everybody that says, you got to come down here and look at this? So now he's got to take a turbo lift, and then he's got to think about what the fuck is going on in engineering. I don't know. And it's like he's stressing out, and it's like, oh, we can't get the dilithium crystals right. Oh shit. I was worried for nothing.
Yeah, and all too often it is Geordi who says, you better come down here and look at this.
Yeah. It's true.
Just tell me.
Yeah.
This is the greatest sandwich I've ever made.
Also, they have FaceTime. They can just go, "Hey, check this out, dude. Let me show you what's going on."
That's true. It's so rarely used.
Also, Geordi's got Predator vision, and Picard loves to watch shit in Predator vision. Loves it.
He totally does.
Jordy, look to your right. To your right.
Computer, engage Jordy's visor.
Yeah.
I want to see what Jordy sees.
Jordy's looking at the harp ladies.
I really wanted that to be used way more, and they just let it go as a concept. Like
Jordy's just a GoPro you deploy.
So anyway, they Skype or like they FaceTime with these dudes that are hiding and peeping on these people, and they're like, "Yeah, we need that battery, dude. It's really bad. If you guys don't get here fast, the reactor's gonna blow." And it's like, what are you guys doing, dude? What kind of shit? Also, this guy on FaceTime, you can't see his right hand. His right hand is kind of below the desk, and I don't like that, dude. I don't know what he's doing under there.
I didn't notice that. That's pretty good.
That's why the batteries are going out.
Yeah. He's looking at harp ladies too much.
Yeah. He's burning it out with vibrators.
Yeah. Well, he's like, we made a holodeck here, and everybody's in there all the time. So anyway, and he's like, yeah, we need those things like ASAP, dude. And he's like, we have like 3 hours at best. And then Data's like, well, if we go warp 7, we could be there in 23. And Picard's like, all right. Well, you know what I don't understand? It's like, if these people were like, hey, we need these batteries fast, and they can go faster, why not go faster? I don't understand.
It's like pedal to the metal in a
Space
car,
cops.
I guess. It's not the best.
They might get a ticket.
Yeah, like who's gonna take
Rich
them?
Evans shows up.
Like they are the police. They are the police. Like who would be like, whoa, you guys are speeding here? Themselves?
I think it's just not great for the engine to always be at full bore, probably.
I know, but I don't know, dude. I don't know. It sounds a little weird to me, but anyway, they're like, all right, let's go to warp 7. And then immediately when he says, let's do it, the fucking reactor blows up on FaceTime. Right. It's really funny as shit.
Oh, yeah, that was traumatic.
Yeah.
I was like,
and it takes him like a minute to be like, they're watching everything blow up, and then he's like, kind of watching it.
Yeah. My favorite part of the
let's
shot
go to
of
warp
him,
9 now.
Yeah.
My favorite part of him watching the explosion is that there's like a random ensign in the bottom right or the bottom left who's just on his console, and he's just not even looking up at the explosion. He's just looking at his console and ignoring
He's got a
it.
job to do.
Immediately. I don't care who you are.
No one's worried, and he's the least worried of all of them.
He's like, dude, don't worry, they're always dead, dude.
Yeah.
9 times out of 10 we get there and they're dead.
I'm just an ensign. This isn't going on my
actually look at the shot, what happens is he was looking at it, then he makes a look down at his console as if, idiots, and then he smirks, and then it zooms past him.
He's like, goddamn fucking newbie perverts.
That's what they get for being peeping Toms on this.
Yeah.
He's like, this is going to take our attention away for the next 42 minutes.
Yeah. So then they get to the planet, and and my favorite part too is the guy who, why did he jump out of the window?
I don't know why. There's the guy that randomly jumps out of the window and like comically falls down on the rocks.
He's supposed to have been exploded out the window, but
really? No, he jumped.
No,
he jumped.
He willingly jumped. He willingly jumped out the
The
window.
entire room, to be fair, the entire room is like energized, so he's trying to get away from it, kind of like somebody in a building that's on fire.
That's true.
Out.
Yeah, no,
I also just heard that the PTA disbanded.
Yeah.
Also, he's like, the actor in real life is like, they're at Vasquez Rocks, and he's like, if he's gonna jump, it's gonna get hurt.
Well,
So he has
we've
to
all
kind
been
of
there.
carefully.
I love that place. Yeah, instantly when I saw this, I was like, I know where this is. This is Vasquez Rocks.
Yeah, the famous Vasquez Rocks.
I just kept on thinking of Neil Breen movies.
Yeah, he wishes he could leave Vegas to make it.
Every time I go up there, I try to find, not to flash forward ahead I try to find the place where Riker hides and transports away.
Oh yeah, that little nook.
Little nook. Yeah, I've tried to kind of like triangulate where the camera was and all that kind of stuff. It's really tough.
Does it really exist, or do they like build like a thing?
That's also a good question. So I don't know. It looks real enough. Like they were like, oh, here's a little place where you can hide, but maybe they built it. I don't know.
Because there's definitely things they clearly built like the fence posts. On these walkways and stuff like that. So I imagine something.
You're right. They could have. So maybe it's a fruitless task. But
also, I imagine anything they built might not have been strong enough to hold Riker when he's leaning against it.
Styrofoam and plaster.
Yeah.
So then Riker's like, no, sorry. So then they blow up and they're like, all right, let's go to warp 9 or whatever. Let's get there faster. And then so they get there and then they beam in. And by the way, we just saw the dude jump out of the window because the room was energized, but the room's still energized, and there's they beam him in there, and then nothing happens to them. So I call bullshit, dude.
I take back what I just said about the room being energized. I apologize.
Because the room is energized, and like there's like it's like Thor's about to show up. There's like thunder, like
there's
Thor,
like lightning,
or a naked fucking Terminator, and it's all over the place. And nothing happens to them. They're like, oh, all right, let's go check out these people. And then a couple of things about this episode. So then we see the first Moloccans walking about. I don't know what they're doing. Like they're not like hunters and gatherers. They're not gathering berries and shit. They're just walking.
They're on
going
a hike.
for midnight's fucking. A midday fucking stroll. I hear the voice of these two actors, and I immediately am happy because I recognize both of them.
Mm-hmm.
Ray Wise is one of them. He plays as a dad.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I forget his name. His name's like Tim or something. What's his name in the show?
The Liko.
Liko. And so Liko, Harpo, and all the Marx Brothers. They're walking about, and I'm like, oh my god, it's the dude from fucking RoboCop. It's the character actor that's in every fucking movie.
Yep.
Twin Peaks.
Twin Peaks, yeah.
Yep.
And then immediately his daughter starts talking, and I'm like, oh my god, Pamela Adlon.
Yeah. Back then, Pamela Segal.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm like, goddamn, Bobby Hill. I recognize like Bobby Hill's voice.
Yeah. Like crazy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But I got really excited because I'm like, all right, we're in for some good. If I close my eyes, I can imagine Bobby in this role. God damn it, Bobby.
Don't you think he looks a little too young to be her dad? Like, I thought.
Well, maybe
I was
they age
confused by
differently.
Well, he's
that.
Vulcan. Yeah, Vulcans age differently.
Yeah, they just age
really?
differently.
Because I was surprised when it was
Don't
like
apply your
father.
human notions to aliens.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah,
I thought
Open
maybe
your
a
mind,
partner.
Sarah.
They don't get their period till they're like 69.
Okay, got it.
Puberty doesn't start till really late. And then they're like looking at a sundial or some sort of fucking.
What's the zenith?
Yeah,
she kept saying or
wind
whatever. I gotta
imagine
do
it's like the solstice
some
for us.
zenith
probably.
thing.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Wait, was it something that was happening like daily?
yeah. It was happening. It
She seemed to
happened
need to
multiple
go back
times a
there
day.
like
Yeah.
a bunch of times.
Yeah, she was
Yeah.
just
So
yeah,
maybe
she was
she's just
taking
saying
her
like it's
measurements.
the sun's at its highest point in the sky. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
It's
So
like
they're
it's high noon.
It's like
We're
I think they're
measuring
like
the
almanac.
seasons.
Yeah, they're like almanac keepers, probably.
Yeah.
Like that. I think that's it.
Yeah, because she had to go back and do it. I mean, it causes her to go away and then find.
Yeah.
Eventually, Riker.
She's looking at some weird fucking. The thing she's looking at looks like those like puzzles you have to undo, like those metal little like things, like they're they're like
It
metal.
looks like a display
puzzles.
at like a museum.
Yeah, that too. So Pamela Adlon and they see this flash in the mountain, and they're like, "Oh, what is that? What kind of gizmo is that?" And he tells his daughter, "Oh, hi." He's like, "Hey, calm down, stay here, dude." And so he goes up to look at the thing, and they're a weird looking race, but they go up and Miko or Liko, whatever his name is, he looks and he's like, "Oh my god, these gods are up here," and there's like a lady on the floor, and they're like trying to heal them, and so he sees it. He sees everybody. He sees what's going on, but surprisingly, no one catches wind of him like peeping on them.
Yeah,
He's like
way later.
Yeah, he's looking for quite a bit.
he's there for a
Well,
while.
Yeah. Why doesn't the Enterprise warn them that hey, you've got some Mintakans
should they be
coming
monitoring
up close?
everything?
Yes.
They have the technology because they beam up the other Marx lady, because the other leader they beam her up because remember, is it Troy or Riker?
Yeah,
she was
it's
like,
Troy.
oh, she's walking about now.
Yeah,
And
and
then-
she had to do the
They can
weird-
easily scan the Mintakan people outside,
Yeah.
comparatively to anybody else that's there, and they're just like, we're gonna let them
Look,
sneak up
this
on
was-
and watch this.
yeah.
Overall, this was a botched mission. I mean, it gets messy with Troy and Riker. They just like fuck up
Oh,
immensely.
Goes tits up really fast, dude.
It does.
So fast.
It really does.
And no one at the at the what is it? The Academy? What is it called again? Not the Enterprise. the whole system, the
Federation.
The Federation.
Oh.
No one in the Federation, no one ever goes, man, this is like the 100th fuck up you guys have done, dude. Like, maybe we should really like establish that maybe we send internal affairs to kind of monitor you guys. So many fuck ups, dude. So many violations of the Prime Directive. Every goddamn fucking year they're violating the Prime Directive. You think other starships are fucking up this much?
Oh yeah.
You think so?
Yeah,
No.
we'll see other series with other starships and even other star bases.
God. And it's just bad.
One of them causes a war. Spoilers.
So are we
so
is this the best of the worst then?
Best of
I mean, the Enterprise is supposed to be like, yes, the flagship of the whole
flagship.
fleet. So this is the
Holy
best
shit.
performing ship. So,
Well, they really
God
fucked
damn.
this mission up because
It's
this
just
was
down
all
to
sorts
the
of bad.
Federation is just a seed of just a bunch of crews that just go out and get into trouble.
Yeah.
Basically.
They
these all go out and make trouble. That's their
they're not
mission.
hiring the best. So anyway, Beverly Crusher goes out and looks at Miko or Liko, whatever his name is, and she's like, "Hey, beam us
Leland.
up, Leland." Yeah,
yeah, exactly.
and he's like, "Beam us up now," and straight into the infirmary, and then the Pamela Adlon's like, "What the fuck, dude? What happened to him? He just disappeared like magic."
Mhm.
And then Geordi finally gets the power going. He resets the he basically goes to the circuit board and just turns it off and back on.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh,
He stares at that thing like a battery, like he doesn't know what the plus and negative side is.
like he just saw it for the first time.
He's the guy. He's the IT guy. They call them in, and they're like, "Can you reset this?" It's like it's been like 2 years since I've ever seen anything like this. Just give me a second to figure out.
Yeah. You're like,
fuck.
but you're an IT, and he's like, yeah, and I've never seen anything like this. I feel like that happens all the time, doesn't it? Like,
Oh yeah.
like you're like, hey, this happened to me. Like it's also something that you probably, that most of the time you've already Googled and you're like, oh, it's something simple, but I know I'm not supposed to fuck with this, so I'll just call the IT guy. And the IT guy goes and he's like, I never seen anything like this. And you're like, but you're an IT dude. And he's like, never seen anything like this. And you're like, but I just Googled it. And
my favorite thing is when you have a problem and the IT guy shows up and then it's working. Right.
Yeah, that's why you call
it's
IT.
the worst.
Yeah.
It's the worst.
You call IT so that the moment they answer, the problem is fixed by itself.
Yeah, the
I'm
moment
the
they
de
show up
facto
to
IT
help.
guy at work, and I can confirm for sure that this happens all the time.
You guys just have like a magic, like what was that target button where you just hit the button and like, oh, everything's great. You just have it
that's
in
the
your
Staples
pocket. It's
button.
like,
yeah.
that's right, the Staples button. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
But same thing happens here, I think. But anyway, so Picard shows up and he's like, what the fuck is that guy doing here? Why are you touching him? He gets all jealous, dude. No, he doesn't. Get your fucking whore hands off of that man. No, he doesn't. Picard's cool, dude.
He is really mad though.
Yeah,
He's pissed.
He is pissed. He's like, what is this man doing here? And she's like, oh, he's a Malak, and he needs to. He was drinking Lysol and he got hurt because of our fault.
He fell.
He fell because of our fault. And he's like,
We told him the bleach would help.
You know what? Look, we're joking around a lot, but God damn it, does this not resonate now? Like,
Okay, but this is where things start to really fall apart. Like,
Oh yeah.
she first of all, I have a question for the group. Like, is she allowed to make the call to just bring him
No.
aboard?
No.
Like, what the fuck?
Sarah. Not only does she not have the authority to do so, but she helped kill her own husband, dude. You think she gives a shit about the rules, dude?
Oh no.
She doesn't give a shit, dude.
God.
She's a rule breaker, dude.
But then she also fails to give him enough sedation.
Oh yeah. She fails again. Beverly Crusher,
Wow.
the worst goddamn
the
fucking
fuck?
mom, and even a worse fucking doctor.
She's horrible.
I keep saying it every goddamn season. No one listens to me.
Yeah, it's
I just get hate mail. I
it's just
know
funny
Marvel's
'cause we
holding it
get
for
this-
me, but I know I get hate mail all the time.
It's just funny because if you slot in Pulaski, you can imagine
Yeah.
this not happening.
Yeah,
Right?
She would have been like,
Never.
she would have been like, either I cure him here in this planet, or he fucking dies.
Yeah.
Done.
Well, two real quick things. First of all, there's a Pulaski reference in
That's
the
true.
scene.
Yeah.
And then later on in the episode, we can go back to, there's a line that said later on where where Dr. Crusher's skills are brought into light, and I want to point something out there. So anyway, but
they call it the Pulaski maneuver, and they're like, "What is a Pulaski maneuver?" Oh, just not let people die.
Yeah. I don't know, be a doctor.
Yeah, just do your job.
What do you got, Crusher?
Yeah. Remember when
I'll do your job.
Picard's like, remember the last season when I didn't want her to look at my dick and she still operated on me and didn't let me die?
That's right.
But anyway, so what is this? What does Liko have in his eyes? Has he got Vaseline in his eyes? What does everything look like? There's like a what's going on, dude? He's got a pink eye or something? Because he's looking and everything looks like it's like a soft focus, and he's like, "Oh, it's a Picard." He's
got a concussion. I've never had a concussion. God. Is that what it looks like?
That's just what an optical organ is like for a proto-Vulcan. There you go.
It just looks.
That's what happens when you see God. When you see God, it looks like that.
They're always just shitty at looking at everything.
That's why it's like those fake POVs of like a dog, and it's like colorblind and fisheye lens, and it's like that.
Perfect.
Yeah, colorblind.
Also, if they have one of those neuralizers like Men in Black, why aren't they constantly using it on people?
Well, this is the thing. So this is a technique that Pulaski came up with. She kind of innovated it on her own.
Competent doctor.
And then Beverly couldn't do it here. So to be fair, she warned that it wouldn't work because they have a different brain. But
no, Pulaski would have figured it out.
She knew that she was bad.
Yeah. She's like, look, it's kind of like when you're like, I'm going to do a shitty job here, but I'm going to
wait, hold on.
It's not going to turn out well because because Mercury's in retrograde, but it's really because you suck.
Well, hold on. I do want to point out that the last time this method was employed, it was on a non-human. It was Data's friend who was an alien.
Well, they were just saying that the alien little girl's Nikki Cox's brain is easier to wipe than
simple. You can say Pollar's.
Dude, they use matrix logic,
but they're proto-Vulcans.
They're too old to wipe.
Well, that's
we should have pulled them earlier.
Boy.
So then anyway, old fucking Miko Marks fucking gets sent down, and he's like, "Oh, you wouldn't believe the shit I've seen, dude." And then Pamela Allen's like, "Well, where did you go? You just disappeared." And he's like, "I was dead, dude. I was fucking dead." And then my eyes were full of Vaseline, and all I could see was a beautiful, beautiful God. He was bald. He didn't have hair like this. See this shitty hair we have? These shitty bowl cuts we have? No, he had perfect, just hair on the side, nothing on top, smooth the shit on top. He probably listens to smooth jazz, this sweet God. And she's like, really? She's like, yeah, look at me. What, did I look like shit before I left? And she's like, yeah, I thought you were dead. You fell, like, exaggeratedly, you fell off the cliff.
You really made a show of it, Dad. I gotta be honest.
And then she's like, yeah, this fucking sweet man took me to the sky, and it is not like the stories. He didn't touch my butthole. He literally just cured me, and he sent me back. And she's like, well, it makes sense to me. I'll believe anything you say. Let's go tell everybody else.
That's kind of true. That's kind of what happened.
It's honestly 100% exactly how she reacted, which is weird because she's like doing all these scientific, like she's measuring the sun, like doing all this stuff, and she's like, "All right, Dad, I get it."
He's like, "Fuck that shit, dude." He's like, "But I think we should get inoculated." He's like, "No, that's all bullshit, dude. Let's just pray, and the prayer will save us." And it really
will protect me from COVID.
Yeah, Bagul will protect me. So then they're like, we got to tell the others to start fucking praying, dude, and fucking kneeling and shaking people's hands in fucking church and eating the body of Christ. Immediately they go like hardcore in religion. Like, there's no like, well, let's let. If it feels like if they're Vulcan, they should be logical and be like, okay, well, what happened, dude?
Why is the first thought not aliens?
Yeah.
Like why is it? I guess
because they have the stories from
the old superstitions.
From the old
right.
superstitions.
I was about to mention,
aliens
they
are old
marry
too.
what he saw with the overseer legends that they already had on the book somewhere.
Well, the overseer legends were probably just other peeping toms that were peeping at them.
It's also very possible. Yeah. It's very possible it was like an older spacefaring culture that found them.
I don't believe the God thing, but I totally believe the alien thing.
Yeah.
So I would totally be like,
I think if they're making the comparison to Bronze Age, like, humans in our world in the Bronze Age did not have a concept of celestial beings either.
The Charles Bronson Age.
No, that's not true, Marvin. Yeah. I think that's not true because you go to like cave paintings and stuff. There are signs of aliens.
You're always praying, Marvin.
Like, have you not watched Ancient Aliens?
Oh boy,
on the History Channel,
Sarah.
I think we're. I think many civilizations were at least able to. Okay, let's all agree that older civilizations, are at least able to conceptualize of non-human entities that had fantastical powers.
Yeah, so I think that's what they attributed it to. Like, no one thought of this. The idea of space didn't exist.
But what is interesting is this species.
No. Aristotle had the theory of he knew about space and he knew about all that shit.
But that's post Bronze Age.
Oh my god, dude!
But wait, what's interesting though is that this species of people, they did give up the idea of like the supernatural, I guess, and like
they had given it up.
Well,
they were like, that's not true.
and then 2 eyes full of fucking Vaseline, and they're back in it again.
Exactly.
Yeah, man.
Which I don't agree with. Ghosts are real, supernatural is real, so it's kind of weird that like they would give that. I don't want to hear from anybody on this podcast. Okay,
well, I'm sorry. You brought me on the podcast, Sarah, because I'm going to side on the logical side of things.
Scott, ghosts are real. Ghosts are real, and we know this.
Okay. As soon as I see one, I'll let you know.
So this is fucking. They're like, well, it's funny because they start like they have a meeting in that fucking whatever that room's called, the meeting room, I guess.
The church. The church.
No. I'm talking about the Enterprise. They're like
the conference room.
Yeah, they're like, hey, we fucked up,
room.
dude. We fucked up with this guy's memories or not.
You didn't check before you put him back.
Yeah,
he just
the observation log.
Yeah.
Although I guess to check him, you would basically have to wake him up and be like,
or go through the butt.
See if he goes, oh my god, who are you again?
Yeah. Oh, why is your finger in my butt? And they're like, oh yeah, you forgot everything. See, if you confuse somebody like that, then they don't remember things. You know what I mean? Like, oh, what's going on, doctor? Why is your? And then they're like, oh, and then you appear on Earth, and you're like, I don't know, some alien was.
That was too crazy to have been real.
Yeah. And I can't tell anybody. So anyway,
they should have just sprayed him with rum, so no one would believe his story.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's true. Imagine he reappears and he's like, daughter, I had Vaseline in my eyes and I saw this thing, and he's like, Dad, you're fucking high as shit, dude.
You're so drunk again.
Yeah.
You do this.
Just throw some bottles around him. Yeah. They should have really set this up. They fucking botched this. I'm telling you, man. Like they botched it. Empty bottles, and he just disappeared.
That's actually kind of a great solution.
Yeah,
it
would have been.
Yeah.
So make him a crackpot.
Yeah. So 2 things. One is that they're like, well, we violated the Prime Directive, and then this guy from the base, he's like, oh, you got to go get my friend Walter or whatever his name is, and they're like, fuck Walter, he's dead, dude. He jumped out of the goddamn fucking base because he was a coward.
Ran like a bitch.
Jumped out the window. Yeah, and then they're like, and then there's this stupid fucking reasoning like, well, because the way the mercury is like lighting up the Earth and it bounces on the silver and thing, we can't scan for life forms. And it's like, bullshit, dude. You can see who's walking around to beam that lady up, but you can't look for another fucking human? Bullshit, dude.
Yeah, so that's what I think the actual problem with the episode is. I think it's like the weird technical explanations for why things can't just be solved right away.
Well, I can answer a little bit of that.
Okay.
So
if there's a thing, please.
Because they were saying that if he went into a cave, the caves are obscuring the sensors, but they're scanning a building that they built with rudimentary, ingredient. I can't think of the fucking word. But they built, with wood and cloth. They essentially have this building that they can scan through. But if he's in a cave, the minerals in the caves are obscuring the sensors. So that's why they were saying if he's in one of those things, we're not going to be able to see him, and potentially that's where he rolled into. So they do kind of say why they do that.
So that's fine. But then why not just beam out Troy?
Well, she's in the middle of everybody.
Well, they have already fucked up real bad.
Yeah,
well,
but for whatever reason, they keep on saying we can't fuck it up more than this.
Collective hallucination. Yeah, I mean,
we have to try to stop.
They're trying. Well, that's the problem. Is they're trying. They keep trying to. They put a finger in one leak, and then 2 leaks open up over there, and then they're trying to use their toe and their foot, and
because the way I like
leaks in my salads.
I like leaking. Yeah.
The way I would have approached it is just, okay, everyone beam back now. Everyone beams back right away.
Yeah.
And then we go, okay, now we're at a clean slate. They're fucked up, but now we got to now
spray the whole planet with rum.
Yeah.
They all are like, man.
You know what they should do? Just
night.
Be like,
you all had a wacky night and saw some shit, but it wasn't real.
He's like, look, someone should have proposed this. He's like, look, we went to that other planet and everyone was blown up except that fucking alien dude who made it all up. How about we blow up this planet and say that dude did it? And we can't find him. And we can't find him.
Just blame it on the down. You'll never know.
Yeah. No one's gonna
Kevin,
know.
We need your help over here.
Yeah, Kevin, blow this planet up for us, dude.
Every episode moving forward, when they have to just get rid of the evidence, they say the Dow did it.
Fucking Kevin.
Kevin, you owe us this solid. You did it,
just tell him, hey, I found some more hoosnock over here. You might want to wipe out this other planet.
I heard these people killed your wife, and he fucking go crazy.
And I heard they enjoyed every second of it.
Yeah, dude. They were praying to Picard while
they called you a punk ass bitch while killing.
Yeah.
They said farmers are bullshit.
Botany's stupid.
Yeah, botany's stupid. All right. So then they're like,
"Fuck Rick Astley.
What should we do? We need to find Walter, and he's like in a cave somewhere." And it's like, why would Walter go to a cave? Why wouldn't he just wander and try to get help? Walter's an idiot, dude. Let him die.
He was hot. So, you want to get out of the sun.
I guess so. And they're like, but we've already violated the Prime Directive. Like, we should just fucking fuck these people, dude. Let's just go down there and save them. But they're like, no, let's get into deeper shit. Let's send Troy and goddamn Riker down there with their shitty ass haircuts and see if they can find something out. Shitty ass disguises and shit.
Yeah. They're horrible wigs.
They look like weird Amish fucked up hair people, dude.
I got a question about this approach. Like, ostensibly, I mean, because of limitations of the show's production, like, we only ever see like one small group of people, like whenever it's like a race, like on a planet.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But it really feels like this society is a very condensed little place. But then 2 random ass strangers come out of nowhere and it's like, hey, we're from elsewhere. We're cool, right?
Yeah.
I want to ask a question.
Yeah.
Sure, go ahead.
They're very trusting, and they're like, sure. They're like, hey, and they're like, who are you? They're like, well, we're here to sell our wool. We're from El Segundo, down. You don't know this fucking. We're way down there, dude. No one wants to go to the west side, and my name's Troy, and this is my pal Riker.
Yeah, they use their real names. First of all,
yeah, it's weird. Yeah. Why do they use their real names?
They can't look them up.
I know, but they couldn't use it like a Marx Brothers name, like Harpo and fucking Groucho.
They would think they were related to Lico.
I guess so. I guess you're right.
There you go.
But Lico's so crazy.
Well,
they're
I'm
like
Curly and he's Larry.
I mean, but they really don't ask any questions. I mean, they just show up and they're like, "Hey,"
and they're like, "I don't think that Picard would want this. What do you know, fucking stranger? Get the fuck out of here, dude."
Yeah, essentially.
Yeah. And so they're talking, and fucking Lico's like, "Yeah, dude, you guys wouldn't even." You don't even know what's happening up there in heaven, dude. This dude Picard's granting wishes. He's a beautiful man, and he's telling these tales. And I think we should pray to him. I think that he thinks that we should all have more than one wife.
He has all these servants that he glares at.
And they're like, no, Lico, I think you're making this up, dude. And he's like, no. He wants us. He said one. Not women cannot have more than one husband, but men because the Picard, he's a wise man. We can't go against him. He's had multiple wives.
all the guys are clapping. All the women are like, "What the fuck is going on?"
This makes sense.
Yeah.
And he told us, be fruitful.
Yeah.
You gotta bear that fruit.
Well, it's funny because all he saw was Picard like giving orders and stuff, and he's like, "Oh, Picard has got many servants, and they're all his concubines." And he's just making shit up, and like he was only there for he was literally awake
0.2 seconds.
Yes, and he had Vaseline in his eyes, and he didn't even see clearly, and he's just making up shit. All he saw
was a smooth.
Yeah, that started to annoy
head.
me. Like how confidently he kept on making up shit. It's like my uncle works at Nintendo.
Yeah. He said that there's a Super Mario Brothers 4 coming out soon.
Well,
they have like a PlayStation 6 up there. It's so cool.
I assume the writers are making a parallel to modern day religion, which, of course.
Yeah, I think they're just accelerating it for the purposes of allegory.
A run at whatever they want to make up. Just from Vaseline, quick minute with Vaseline and eyes and egg-shaped smooth head.
I think part of it also it's sort of exposed right at the end is that Liko's character is very desperate. So like he
well, like everybody in any religion that wants to keep power. Clearly, Liko's running for a power move because he's like, this woman is in charge. Fuck that. The Picard says that I should be in charge because women are inferior. Like you could tell he's got an agenda, dude. Well, because she's in charge and the lady's in charge, dude. And he starts fucking trying to like pull rank on her. Fuck Liko, dude. I hope he fucking dies, dude.
To be fair, I think he just wants his wife back.
That's true.
I agree. No. I agree with Ricardo. He's got an ulterior motive, like for sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, he's too excited to be like, no. Listen to me. The Picard would be very upset if there was a woman leading here.
Yeah.
You know what? It kind of makes. You're right. Like. Once you like break down religions, they're all fucking silly. They're all silly. Like think about this. Like suicide bombers are like, dude, if you go and you're a suicide bomber, you're gonna get 100 wives when you get to heaven. But no one asks. None of the people that are gonna volunteer say, "Oh, well, sir," and yes, you with the question with your hand up. Yes. Well, are these virgins? Are they new virgins? Are they minted freshly in heaven, or are they taken from Earth? Like, where are the? No one's asking fucking because they're just getting stupid people. Just yes people to be like, okay, 100 virgins sounds right to me. And it's like no one's asking the goddamn questions. Where are these virgins coming? Why can one man have more than one wife? All these religions are very silly.
No one's asking granular questions.
No one. And Liko's fucking going off here. Same with the same bullshit. No one's going like, well, Liko, remember you lost your wife and you got all this grief and it seems like you're making shit up, dude. But no, they just let him fucking rant, dude. And then
the movie keeps on pulling. The move that Liko keeps on pulling is he keeps on like, hey, old guy over there, like remember the overseer? He could do this, right? And the overseer's like, kinda. Like there's a story about like, yeah, see, they did that. That's what it was.
Yeah. And then they find Walter and they bring him in and he's like, oh, see, this is one of the angels, one of Picard's angels. He's been cast down. His name's probably Michael, or Lucifer. I don't know which one's which, but he's probably been cast down because he disobeyed the Picard, and he's literally improving as we go. He's just making shit up. Everything. He's probably upset because he didn't follow his orders. You don't know anything, Liko. Shut the fuck up, dude.
He's making all these logic leaps, like they're super huge leaps. But I like that, Marvin, you brought that up, that he's so desperate about his wife. I hadn't really thought about that when I was watching the episode. I'm just like, okay, this guy is, proto-Vulcan. He's very old, it's kind of simpleton, and he's just looking for an excuse to be right. But when you bring it into, that he's so desperate to get his wife back. And that's, I think, like you say, a lot of religions, so desperate to have an answer, so desperate to know something, so desperate to not be in the dark, that there's all these major logic leaps. And I think that's a lot of what's going on in this episode. And even those, and like you were saying, the scraps of information. The old ones were saying, yeah, that was sort of one of the tales that they told, and he's like, yeah, see. And it's like, well, that's not exactly what I said, and he just
wants confirmation bias.
Confirmation bias. That's the word for it. Definitely.
Yeah, perfect.
What is with Ray Wise and, what would have tied this all together for me and what would have made me like Liko is if he just had an emotional breakdown and asked everyone to dance with him about his dead wife. Someone please dance with me.
I think it's a good reference. But that's what religion is. Like religion, right, is to answer the answers we don't have, right? And to
I imagine many religions began as a form of solace to try to
it's like the end isn't really the end, right? It's like an answer. But like I feel like with the grief aspect, like is it so do you feel like the Picard and Liko having some kind of faith that maybe there was something more or something could be done? Is that such a bad? It is a bad thing because Liko was like literally threatening violence, and that goes too far. But if it doesn't go too far, is that a bad thing for him to be like, well, maybe there is something more?
You mean
if
the
he's
fact
not
that he's
hurting
believing
anyone.
in something?
Yeah, if he's not hurting anyone, I think that's a lot of the questions of modern day religion.
That's the rub is when it's not hurting anybody. But when people are like, okay, I believe in God and I think He wants me to pray and like do all these things. But then when you get to the point of I believe in God and He's telling me to kill these other people because they don't have the same belief I do, then that becomes a problem. And I know that's like a super high level of it, but it's like, people sort of do those things on a granular level where they're affecting, they're affecting government, they're affecting, all the things that affect other people's lives that aren't interested.
And or withholding rights or using it as an excuse to make
which is
people
why I
less
think
than.
there has to be some careful level of, I would say, like cultural management of what's going on with it, because it's tricky. It's why religion's always been like a tricky stepping stone in society, right? Because you're trying to figure out, okay, well, everyone has the right to their beliefs. Obviously, you can believe what you want to believe. It just has to not impede on other people's rights. But some of these beliefs invoke that, and it's difficult.
Look, I will admit to this. I won't lump Marvin into this, but if he wants to jump in on this, he can. I started sort of like a pseudo cult in my previous job.
Oh, I'm in on this story.
Marvin is one of the forefathers of this cult, and it started off as a joke, and then like it went on for 3 years, and like it was one of our coworkers, I won't say her name, but it was Marvin. It was like all three of us that kind of started this in a joking way. We started this thing, and then we started celebrating every year, and then like people were like bringing in like food on the day that we celebrated, and then eventually I got the whole department to do it as a joke.
Whoa,
but kind of serious.
So awesome. You were the Ricardo.
I wasn't. I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm
you
not
were the Ricard.
I'm not the guy in town.
You're the Ricard.
But I'm like, man, like
you were the Ricard.
It's all for the bagul. It's all for bagul.
A couple of years from now, I could be like telling people to like, oh, you gotta cut bagul some money, dude, like a tithe, like 10%. And the thing is, like, I could be like, well, my religion doesn't let me get up before 10. I gotta sleep in. That's what my God. But I'm not making everybody fucking like, oh, just because I believe we should get up at 10. I'm not making everybody like, oh, you can't go to work. You gotta wait till at least 11 to go to work.
Does bagul have a collection plate?
It did.
It did, dude. It did.
There was a collection.
Nice. That's what you want. Wow. That's what bagul wants.
Yeah.
Just for context, has anyone seen the movie Sinister, starring Ethan Hawke?
No,
I have not.
Written and directed by Scott
I hate
Derrickson.
Ethan Hawke.
So it's fine. He gets horribly murdered in that movie by Bagul.
Oh, okay.
So Bagul.
Praise to Bagul.
Bagul is the villain of Sinister, and it was just funny because I always found the scene with Vincent D'Onofrio in that movie really funny, because he's the occult expert, and he's like basically on a Skype call with Ethan Hawke because he can be bothered to come to set, and then he basically just goes, "So you have a problem? It's called a bagul."
And then I think for a while you had misunderstood it, and Marvin thought he said you have a bagul problem.
Yeah,
and that's what I heard from you guys for a long time.
That's a red letter media joke that melted into my brain.
Okay, got it.
But also like that's how things in religion start. Like seriously, like give them like that's our creed. That's our creed. You have a bagul problem, and then like, but it's like even doing that as a joke, and then like it growing. Like I'm not kidding by saying like the last year we did it before COVID, we had like seriously 15 people celebrating it.
Wow.
And, like, we had
candles were lit.
Yeah, I tried to get IT to pull the security tape. And I gave them the date, but they were like, nah. I think they were never recording because
they were never recording.
I talked to like 3 different
secure room.
Yeah,
no.
I got one of the IT guys drunk, and they said, "Hey, on this date we celebrated Bagul Day. Can you just pull a tape of us celebrating it?" Because I never took pictures because it was a secure room, and we were supposed to take pictures, but like. Dude, we seriously had like everyone was wearing black, and like
oh my god,
we asked everybody to wear black, and then we had a celebration where you had we brought a bunch of snacks, and we said you have to cleanse your hands, and then we bought charcoal soap, which is black soap.
Oh my god,
we literally had people washing each other's hands. I'm not kidding, dude. I'm not exaggerating any of this.
This is getting out of hand.
Yeah. And it was literally my department and the EBK department. Yeah. So it was 2 departments that were involved. Everybody was in on it. Most like 2 people I know were religious, but they were only doing it because they wanted snacks. But they still wash their hands, and they still lit the candles.
So you're legal.
See, that's how you get people involved in religion anyway.
Yeah.
That's why people go to communion, man. You get a cracker and some wine.
It's legitimately a reason in Korean communities. A lot of Korean back in the day, especially like when my grandfather was still a pastor, like he got people in because he offered lunch.
Yeah. Like after every damn service, there is a lunch there.
There's a big lunch, and everyone gets to eat for free. It's a really big incentive to come and be part of.
And that's
the religion.
not even just a Korean thing. Like it's just very typical for meals to be shared after.
Yeah, exactly.
But
exactly.
I mean, like it is like a communal thing. Like it helps build your community. Yes, but some people are there for the food, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some people are there for the tail. If you're Mormon, you're like, well, more wives.
And by the way, and Star Trek is, while you get back into it, Ricardo, Star Trek is pissed about it because Riker's like, oh shit, it's worse. It's worse.
Yep.
They're starting to believe in a god. This is like the worst thing ever that they can start to believe in a god.
Yeah.
Especially after having started going down the logic path.
Yeah.
They're supposed to be good.
Yes.
Picard gets so furious when the other scientist guy says, look, what if we just tell them that just Picard wants him to stop doing these things?
Give them the commandments.
Yeah, give him commandments. Yes. And Picard's just like, what the fuck are you talking about?
He's like, I'm not fucking giving them commandments.
Oh, no, I haven't pulled it up, though. But
you can cosplay as God, right? Go for it, Picard.
Because I love how he ends that like retort with no. He's just like, no, I'm not going to do it.
So then they're like, all right, we found this disciple of Picard here. We got it. Does he want us to punish him, or does he want us to like save him? And then basically they're going out to the caves to see if they see any more people of Picard's. And then Riker just kidnaps this dude. He fucking hogties this old man. And he takes Walter, and he's like running towards the cave, but he doesn't want to do the what is it? Dematerializing? He doesn't want to do
transport.
Transport. Yeah. He doesn't want to expose the what's it called? Who's the transporter? He's like, I gotta keep him safe. I can't expose fucking. Oi, fuck
yeah, there's this constant there's this constant.
It's not Miles O'Brien.
No, it's not Miles O'Brien. It's the best transporter. So anyway, Riker fucking kidnaps Walter, and he like runs, and he's trying to hide behind. There's a lot of opportunities for him to just hide behind a rock. Like everyone left. He could have just like bonked the old man in the head and been like, all right, fucking,
or blindfolded the old man.
Yeah,
and then just do it now.
yeah.
Actually, that's a really good point.
Yeah,
that's a really good.
He's already tied up.
That's what I mean. There's a lot of procedural things in the episode where you're like, why didn't you just do that?
Yeah,
come on.
and then Bobby Hill's like, oh, the Riker's taking this guy, and then they capture fucking Troy. They're like, well, we'll keep this lady as collateral. And then you have one guy that looks like Gaston from like Beauty and the Beast, and he's got a bow and arrow, and he's trying to chase them down.
Yeah.
like a carbon fiber woven, like awesome modern.
It's a very advanced looking bow.
Yeah, it looks cool.
Actually,
but they wrap some cloth around it.
It looks very modern, actually.
They wrap some cloth around, and he's like, "See, it looks old timey." But no, like it's modern. Even the arrow is fucking modern, dude.
Yeah.
It's got a scope on
it.
Look, it was hot out there. They have a lot of time.
So
it was legitimately 107 degrees while they were shooting.
No. Are you serious?
Yeah. So they were they wanted to finish shooting as fast as possible.
And they had them wearing those heavy outfits? Oh God, no. Fuck that.
Yeah. So to wrap this up, because it really fucking it gets dumb as it goes.
Well, actually, my favorite part is actually the part. So they get teleported up, right, into the ship. That's actually my favorite part, where Nuria is actually going around and being told how this all works.
Oh, yeah. So that's what I was going to get to, but it's still very dumb because she's very dumb. Her people are not as advanced. I get it, dude. Again, I was just being funny. So they beam her up.
I got a podcast to record. I got to be funny. Come on.
So they take her above. They take the real leader, not fucking Liko and his bitch ass fucking theories. They beam her up and they're like, "Hey," and she's like, "Oh Lord, please, Picard, give me the Vaseline in the eyes so I too can see your vision." And
then Picard just flirts with her.
Yeah, and then he flirts with her and he holds her hand and he touches her face.
It's very touchy.
Yeah, he's like, "Feel my warm hand."
Whoa!
And then
it is as warm as yours.
I'm gonna show her the magic. Say,
yeah. Put your hand down my pants. Feel this.
Sarah's got it. Sarah's got the right idea.
He's like, I'm going to show you how real I am.
Yeah.
He's like, God have this.
Yeah. He's like, touch it, feel it. Tell me. And he's
we're both flesh and blood.
Yeah.
Wink.
Yeah. If you know what I mean.
Set phasers to come.
That conjures up a very awful mental image in my head.
Just phasers with a bunch of jizz in them.
That's my catchphrase. I'm going to say that's my catchphrase.
That's your captain catchphrase.
Yeah.
Every battle starts off.
Set your phasers to come. And so
don't write it down.
Okay. Quick question.
Yeah.
Okay. Do the phasers shoot cum or make the people cum? Which way is it?
Both are good.
I was going to say they could do both. Like there's a kill on a real phaser. There's a kill and a stun setting.
That's
you got
true.
all kinds of settings.
You turn it the opposite
blew my
way.
mind a little bit, Marvin, because then you just made me realize that when you hit it, when you set it to stun, you're setting the.
You're not shooting stun. You are.
Yeah, exactly. You're setting it to what you want it to do to them.
Yeah, exactly. So I imagine it would make them come. It just makes them feel really good. It's actually a diplomacy device.
That makes sense.
Well, they just stopped and they're smiling so widely.
Yeah. Everyone agrees now.
Yeah.
Imagine how many awkward diplomatic situations could be solved by just everyone comes together at once and they're like, oh shit.
Everyone's just a little
you don't need that mute guy. They just take the phaser.
Everyone's a little bit embarrassed. Everyone's feeling good.
Wow.
We all start on even footing,
And so they're in the conference room and they're all arguing about the Prime Directive. They're like, and they're like, look, I'm just going to throw a wild theory out there. Let's blame it on Kevin and blow this place up, dude. And then Ricard.
Whoa.
Riker. I was going to say Ricard. Riker says, hey, how about we do this? We bring up the smartest person up here, which is the leader of the female.
The lady, the female, the woman saves the day again.
Yeah. He's like, we explained to her, we explained how it works, that you're not a god and that you have a dick just like everybody else. And then we send her down there to explain to everybody else and call it a day and get the fuck out of here, dude. And he's like, well, that might work. I guess you're right, dude. Let's try that. So they somehow managed to figure out which one of the people down there she is. And I like this thing where Data can't comprehend that Troy is saying and And
she's like,
is her mouth? Is she gagged? I can't understand what she's like.
But did you notice? But there was this weird moment, like the first time she did the like. Like Riker had this weird like smile on his face.
Yeah, he knew.
Like he's like, that's a sound he knows.
He was like,
I heard her say that, dude.
Like it was weird, and then it's like Data's like, what is she? And then he just like takes a minute and he smiles. He's like, I've heard that before.
Yeah,
and I'm like, oh my god,
affirmative, Data.
Yeah,
I've hit the right spot. I mean, that's
yeah.
It was totally weird and on purpose, and I was like, oh my god, that's so weird.
They're playing with the gags. That's
She's
how
like,
what's funny about that scene though is that while Riker's like enjoying himself, Troy is like very uncomfortable looking.
Yeah.
She's like, Riker, shut up.
And then and so they eventually beam up this lady. She's one of the Marx brothers. And then she gets up there and she's like, oh Lord, I've been here. I'm here with Picard. And she doesn't know at first, but he's like, my name's Jean-Luc. Wait for it. Picard. And she's like, oh Lord, you are a beautiful man. I know now what Lico is saying.
Worthy.
Yeah, we're not worthy.
That's really fun. You know, Marvin, you're saying like all the logistical or the problematic beats of the episode. Why does he have to say his last name?
Yeah, he could just be, I'm Jean-Luc.
My name's Jean-Luc. Let me show you around the ship. I'll show you how normal I am. Oh, by the way, I'm the god you thought I was, and I'm just I'm a normal.
What if he revealed it at the end? He's like, by the way, I'm the Picard that you thought I was.
See how I'm not? Terrible delivery.
Okay,
I did not think this through.
I got it, dude. This is what I would have done, dude. I would have been like, if I was Picard, I'd be like, hey, what's up, dude? I'm Picard, dude. I'm Picard. And then she would have been like, oh my God, the Picard. She's like, and I'd be like, wait, hold on. Give me your hand. I'm going to take you somewhere. And then I would take her to the bathroom and have her watch me take a shit. And be like, see, I shit like everybody else.
Oh my God.
You think if I was a god, I wouldn't just not do this, waste my time and it not be smelly? I'm human.
Look at me, damn it.
Look at me. Look at my shame. Look at my shame here.
Yeah, and then she would have been
look at it, crown.
Smell it. That's not a number one. That's a number two.
Sean Connery is the captain.
Oh, yeah, that was a little Sean Connery, wasn't it? Sorry.
Scottish.
I mean, that probably would have like solved her answers. It would have been a quick meeting. She would have been like, I got it.
She's like, I get it, dude. I get it.
Can you send me back?
You were definitely not God.
Can you give me that mind eraser thing that didn't work? Yeah. I don't want to remember that.
Yeah. I'll make sure to go down there and tell everybody that you guys are shitting up here just like everybody else. But instead he's like, look, this is your world down there. And she's like, oh, is that my home? Is that Earth? When he could have solved this by just taking a shit in front of her.
I'm sorry. I'm just now imagining she goes back by herself and they all like Lico's like, I don't believe you. He's a god. And she's like, no, I saw him poop.
I saw him take a shit. And he's like, what does that have anything to do with it?
Look at this.
Yeah. He's like, Lico. Poop. He's like, Lico.
And he's like, you had diarrhea. There were stories of the overseer shitting, weren't there?
Yeah.
He's like, no, the overseer
he
never
did sit down once and squatted in a corner and see, that was him. He was shitting.
And so he's trying to like convince her. He's like, look, we're just like you guys. We're just more advanced, and like you two will be this advanced. And she's like, oh yes, we will have space travel. He's like, yeah, one day. And she kind of starts to get it, and he's like, okay, well that's fine, but can you grant me one wish? Can you bring back these people that are dead? And he's like, god damn it, you didn't fucking learn anything. Here, let's go to the bathroom.
I feel like that's a misunderstanding on Picard's part, because it's like, whoever said that death was that infallible? Like, who's to say that technology couldn't eventually get to the point where you could revive the dead?
Well, like I wouldn't even go that far as well, I guess reviving the dead. Yeah. You're right. And I think you're right. He's making the leap that she still thinks is a god, but she's making the leap of, well, if you've got a fucking spaceship over my planet.
Yeah.
Which she doesn't even know what a planet is.
Everything seems equally impossible to her.
Yeah,
it's totally fair.
It's not outside of her logic. It makes sense.
Not at all.
If Lico was really dead, like fucking Bobby Hill says, then you could bring anybody back. Bring back Liko's wife because he fucking won't stop fucking trying to take over.
He wasn't dead, right? He was just injured.
Nobody says that. Like, by the way, he wasn't dead. He was just hurt.
They keep postponing that explanation.
Yeah. By the way, he was just drunk. He wasn't fucking dead.
Did you not smell the rum on him?
Yeah. And then so basically like. Then Picard figures out like, oh, I get it. The only way to show her that we're human is by showing her death, and he basically, which is very disrespectful for that lady's husband.
Yeah,
who's like
this bothers me.
Really fucking awkward, right? Like he's like, real bad. Check this out.
Hey, want to see someone die?
yeah.
Basically,
you know what's
extra? Gonna watch a death.
He's
what's extra bad is like Beverly's bedside manner is terrible. She's right next to the person and goes, "Yeah, she's gonna die."
Yeah,
like the fuck?
He's like, Tim, your wife's gonna die, dude. You should say goodbye to her, dude.
She's right there.
Yeah. And then,
are you sure she's gonna die? Yeah, I'm so sure. I'm gonna call the captain up here to watch it.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's a
ceremonial watching of crew member die.
Yeah, we're gonna watch a fucking Lukey. We're gonna get a Lukey Lou here to fucking watch it too. You know, this intimate moment that you're gonna have with your wife, her last moment living. Yeah, some weird lady's with weird eyebrows is gonna look at you guys.
Sorry, I got to prove a point.
Yeah. So then basically she believes it now. She's like, oh yes, you do shit and fucking die like we all do. And then Liko is like, that lady's been gone for too long. We must and he's just making shit up, dude. This Liko guy is a piece of shit.
He just wants to hurt Deanna for whatever reason.
You know what? Yeah, you know what they should do? Is Picard should have came back and gone, nobody believe in God. Nobody believe. I'm not a god. Don't believe this guy. I'm going to tell you what. I'm going to shoot him so you can see that I kill like any other goddamn fucking being. And he just fucking shoots him with a fucking laser. This is how advanced we are. We shoot lasers out of fucking. I could have made him come, but I made him die.
No. What if instead Picard beams down and takes a shit in front of everyone?
Yes, dude.
Everyone.
Yeah.
Pause. Yeah. Watch me. He stands on top of the town fountain.
Yeah. Oh my god.
He has a Daniel Plain view.
That's like two shits in an hour. How much? What is he doing?
You could make anything on a replicator, so he's probably
lots of Taco Bell.
Taco Bell, the real kind. The real kind.
Yeah, not Taco Bell new. Taco Bell classic.
Classic.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go.
So then. Whole Liko's like, there's only one way to kill her. By the way, a weird way to kill somebody, which is with a bow and arrow. Just, if you're going to sacrifice somebody, why not do like an axe or a knife? So many classic ways. He's like, no, the Picard only accepts people who are killed with bow and arrow.
The prop department only remembered to bring the bow.
Yeah.
They forgot.
No ceremonial daggers around.
Yeah.
But also, did you notice the bow is like really dull? It doesn't have like a sharp end on it.
Well, I think they were trying to not accidentally.
The arrow, not the
They're probably just trying not to accidentally hurt people in case of misfire.
It also probably was just an archery arrow that they didn't bother to put an actual arrowhead on.
Yeah, like there's no arrowhead on it. It's just literally a stick.
Yeah. It's not an Alec Baldwin production. There's not like
Too soon. Okay. They were careful here.
Not too soon.
You can cut that out.
No,
that's fine. It's not too soon. But you're right.
TNG confirmed safer set than Alec Baldwin can manage.
That's right. That's true.
So then Liko's like, fucking Picard's back. Oh, see, I told you we should have killed this lady sooner. And then he's like, no, I'm human. See, like this lady will show you. And he's like, no, that's a woman. Don't believe what she says. You're still a god. He basically says that. He's like, no, you're still a god. Bring back my dead wife. And he's like, no, again, I'm human, dude. If you just listen to her, she'll tell you that I took a shit up there and she saw somebody die. And then he's like, Liko, he's right, dude. And he's like, no, he's not. This man never shits. And he's like, I'll show you. I
am a man, Liko. I am a man. I take shits.
And he goes to shoot Picard for I don't know what his logic was. I mean, they kind of explain it, but I'm like, this bullshit. And he's like, but if I was Picard, I'd be like, dude, you think if I'm a god, that thing's not gonna bounce off of me and I'm gonna just fucking smite you, dude? I'll smite you, dude, if you fucking shoot that. You piece of shit.
It's a lose-lose situation, regardless. Like either you attempted to kill a god, and now the god's gonna be really mad.
Yeah.
Or you just killed an innocent person.
Yeah.
There's no winning.
And Picard is like a baller, and he's like, "Fuck you, shoot me, then you bitch." And
fucking
then
shoot me.
Yeah, it's the best moment of the show. Yeah.
Shoot me. And then Troy like pushes kind of his arm, and Liko shoots him in the shoulder. And then the lady's like, "See, he bleeds." And he's like,
"Oh, she does the dramatic hold up with the blood."
She's like, "See what you did, you piece of shit, dude."
No, you need to keep that there. Keep the pressure on it.
Yeah. And
he
he's
bleeds
like,
red.
If they had the technology to bring her back your wife, now they're gonna bring her back and then shoot her again just to piss you off, dude.
Oh my god,
piece of shit. And then the next scene, like Picard's in a sling and everything's fucking fine.
This like weird ass sling.
That's what I was saying earlier about Dr. Crusher's. She used her usual skill to repair me. Your arm's in a sling, bro.
Yeah.
Like she didn't repair anything.
In the future where it like cancer is solved instantly, she couldn't.
You repair people's like broken arms and legs, and they walk out of sick bay, and like his arm's still in a sling. You're not good.
I mean, she did a worse job with Picard than she did with Liko earlier in the episode.
Yeah,
and his memory, by the way, was completely unaffected with her little attempt at the
that's true. Nothing.
Okay. Actually, I started thinking about that for a little bit, and I have a new theory about this. I think that Beverly's attempt at the Pulaski method made him crazy.
Made him think it was more of a religious experience.
It weaponized him.
Exactly. So Beverly's the true villain of this episode.
Yeah, that's fantastic. She's the villain of every episode she's in.
I mean, the Crushers are the villains.
Yeah.
I mean,
it made him irrational.
Yeah.
It made him, toss away all logic.
I'm 100% on board with this theory.
I mean, if you're going to do a post-mortem on what happened here, what went wrong? Like, how did we do this?
It was all Beverly's fault.
It's all Beverly's fault.
To be fair, what went wrong is you built a peeping station on a planet you shouldn't have.
They built the biggest peeping hole.
Don't they have
like
probes?
Yeah, they could just look at it from the sky. Just Google Earth, the planet.
Yes,
right with with some satellites and just take a look. You don't have to.
If they really want to do something, this is what they do, dude. They creep up on one of these fucking fools. They zap them, make them unconscious, put a GoPro on them, a secret GoPro, and then just let them loose.
Oh,
well, that's they did that. They did that to Geordi in to jump ahead in Star Trek Generations.
That's spoilers.
Spoilers.
You'll forget about it by next week.
If Beverly works on me,
I actually do believe that we would forget about this.
Yeah.
But they do explore that kind of thing where they use somebody else as like kind of a seeing eye dog.
You mean like the visor, the Predator vision we saw earlier?
Oh yeah.
I'm imagining that like the tracker or like GoPro that they attach to the person is just Geordi's visor. So eventually they go back to civilization. It's like, hey, what's that new thing on your face? What thing?
Well, I was thinking like a literal like helmet GoPro that they just force on top of their head, and they're just like, this is like a thing on your head, man. It's like I don't know. I just woke up and it was like this. It's fine.
Again,
should go to a doctor. I'll do it tomorrow.
And then Picard's like, see, we are human. We just been peeping on you. Check this out. And he reveals the peeping window.
Yeah, he tells them.
Yeah, and they're like, whoa, shit, dude. That's kind of a violation of our privacy, dude.
That's kind of fucking weird. Like, I don't know why they're all okay with it.
Yeah, they should have been like, why were you, what the they did ask, like, why would you care about us? But not like, why isn't that, this feels weird.
Yeah, like, they didn't say it with enough anger. Like, what the fuck, dude, you piece of shit.
Yeah, like, why are you spying on us? Like, what is this?
Yeah. Are you seeing if we're naughty or nice, and then you'll decide if we're going to go into heaven? I don't understand. And so fucking everyone's fine afterwards. They're like, see, all's well that ends well. Anyway, we just changed your lives forever. Violating the Prime Directive once again. Moving the goalpost on the Prime Directive one more time. And anyway, see you guys later. And then this tiny like little elf person shows up. This is a child, I guess.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, hey, look at it." It feels like the end of Three Amigos, where they're like, "Look, we know you're not going to take money, but here's the sweater we made you."
Right.
and
it's like a piece of tapestry. It ends up showing up in episodes, actually. Like he actually puts it in his office.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Not in his office, in his personal quarters. It's
the ready room. Yeah, the ready room. Yeah.
Not
the personal room. Yeah.
It's his personal quarters. Yeah.
Do you think it's like the president, like they have to log any gifts he gets from people, and he's like, you can't. It could be contrived as a fucking bribe.
Yeah, because he'd have to write it out. He'd have to claim it on his taxes.
Yeah, I would think so. I mean,
where I work, the rule is it can't be worth over $5.
Oh, really? Oh, but what about when people bring lunch? This is the thing. That lunch is
worth more than $5.
Yeah.
So you can't
accept it.
Really?
Oh, really? Oh.
So if they bring Taco Bell, you're good. But if they bring like Red Lobster, you're like, no, can't accept them.
Right. We told you. I know you wanted to surprise us, but you can't.
I have brought you one spicy potato soft taco.
Yeah,
this is acceptable.
That's I will accept.
Dollar menu only. Oh, they don't even have the dollar menu anymore. Inflation,
fuckers.
Inflation's too much now. We can't do dollar menu.
No, it's just Taco Bell.
Inflation.
Remember the dollar menu?
Inflation is why prices are rising. That's exactly why.
If you want to be a baller and be a dollar menu millionaire, you buy everything on dollar menu. You just go up to the drive-thru and go,
I literally used to do that.
I got paid. Give me everything on dollar menu. And then they're like, what, dude? Yeah, dude, everything.
Well, Marvin used to measure prices in McChickens.
It's true.
What?
I used to say,
that's like $50. Man, it's like 40-something McChickens.
That shirt's like 20 McChickens. You know?
No.
I used to measure things by Jack in the Box tacos.
There you go.
One time I was like, man, Bill Gates is rich as shit. He could buy like everyone in the world like 2 tacos. Like 2 tacos, like literally like every 6 months. He could just be like, today's is Bill Gates Taco Tuesday, and then everyone in the world gets 2 tacos.
And just
like for the longest time, Jack in the Box tacos were worth like the power of a Jack in the Box taco was about half of that of a McChicken.
Yeah. Now I don't know. I don't know the exchange rate between McChickens and Jack in the Box tacos are at this moment.
They used to be 2 for $1, but now they're almost like they might still be 2
it's like $1.39, I think.
Yeah, they're
for 2 tacos.
You know, that kind of stuff. It's expensive
more
now.
Complicated.
Yeah,
it's expensive now. It's not cheap anymore.
It takes a lot to make that fake meat. Anyway, that's the end of the episode. Look, it was a better of the Prime Directive episodes, but it was still Swiss cheese. Had a lot of holes in it.
Yeah, it's true. You're not wrong. A lot of the writing, I think, is for the sake of just trying to get the scenes to go for the themes.
Yeah,
it's theme over logic, which I'm not always super like torn up about.
I did like the episode though. I did like the episode. It just had a lot of holes in it. I liked it. And I like the idea of like being like, see how religion is so silly, you know, like they all are. You got as soon as a woman's in charge, some dude's gonna make up shit to try to usurp her fucking power. He'll be called Lico.
Speaking of which, did you catch that thing where it's a polygamous society with women being the one who can have multiple men? Did you catch that?
Yeah, that's right.
Where they were saying, "Oh, Mintakan women, they basically get to decide if men can have sex."
Oh yeah. That's a conversation Deanna and Riker have.
Yeah. And they were just like, "Oh yeah, you could." They basically negotiate whether men can fuck other men.
Yeah, they basically say whether.
But Riker's like all on board. It's like, "Oh man, this is great."
Yeah. They are a sensible race.
Yeah, sensible race. Oh my god,
Riker's
that's
a pervert, dude, and I like it.
He just wants to experiment.
His hair was on point.
Well, I think he liked it because it reminded him of that other
Sixth Planet.
Yeah, the matriarchal society where he got to get it on with
the president.
The matriarch. Yeah, he fucked the president.
He's a pit. Just because Riker's hair was on point, I'm gonna give it a 7.5.
Oh. I'll give it an 8. I have to admit, this is a bit of like a like a soft spot nostalgia episode for me. This is one of those episodes that showed up on reruns a lot for me. So I actually really, really like this episode for that. Sure. I realize its flaws, especially as when I was younger. I watched it quite a bit and I was like, why don't they just beam Deanna up right now? She's in danger. She's going to die. Might as well bring her up now. But it's fine. It's not the worst thing. I think the scenes where Nuria is up on the ship are really good and really well acted. Yeah. So I really like those scenes quite a bit, and that kind of makes the episode for me. So I'll give it an 8 out of 10 for me. What do you guys think?
I would go off of that and say that scene between Picard and Nuria, that's my favorite scene in the show. That's kind of one of the main reasons why I wanted to do this episode on your podcast.
Really? That's so interesting.
Yeah, just because of the speech and how just the logic lines that he draws, and they're very subtle. Mm-hmm. And it's like, what would an ancestor of yours think if you used a bow, or if you killed a buckbeak or whatever he said. A buck ram
or gorebuck or something.
A buck or whatever it was. Hornbuck. There you go.
Hornbuck. You're right. There we go.
And like from a distance, and she's like, "Well, I can do that because I have a bow." Yeah, but she's never seen a bow. It's like magic to her. She wouldn't even think of what that is, and that's just like a small, tiny step. And then but to the other points, it's like, well, now you have these massive leaps of logic where she thinks he can heal the dead, but it's still such a beautiful scene where these are the small steps that you can get to a point of making logical, rational decisions, but it also kind of shows where people can get off the rails. And it's a delicate balance, obviously, and that's why for generations we still come up into these problems of religion and war and all these other things where just it's people's belief system, whether it's they've been raised in it, or they've had a trauma and they've got to find an answer for it, or they just don't understand the expanse of the universe, so they fill in the gaps. And I like an episode like this where you have a scene like that where it tries to give you a little bit of an answer where you can start to make those questions and do that kind of thing. So I really enjoy it. So I would say for me, it's like, I definitely see some of the Star Trek problems with it as far as writing and all those, like leaps of storytelling and all that. So I give it an 8.5.
Nice.
I think that I agree with all of that. And I think a great part of Picard's conversation with her is that he's not like very like talking down at her. It's very much like, I just want to help you understand. It's just a conversation between them versus, because before he's clearly angry about the idea of people being drawn into superstition, but he's not blaming them. So when he talks with them, he's very understanding. He's like very like
okay, that entire encounter and conversation and tour around the ship is a desperate attempt to steer them away from superstition.
Yeah, and it works.
It's the antithesis. It's the antithesis of what the Doctor wants him to do, is say, "Well, go down there and give them a set of commandments. We've already done the damage. Go and just try to put a bow on it." And he's like, "No, fuck that. I'm gonna try to give these people." I'm going to try to ground them and try to put them back where they were, rather than try to just try to screw it up even more. So
yeah, he's not going to play. He's not going to play God and just give them these commandments to follow, right?
And I like that the last scene. It's like one of those refreshing scenes you see in a sci-fi episode of anything, where everyone is now together and they all understand, and even Liko is like, "Yes, I was misled," and I just wanted to make sure everything's okay. It's like everyone is now, it's not that sitcom thing where everyone's like, "Oh, we just misunderstood each other. Now we're angry." It's like, "Oh, okay, we're good. Yeah. We're good." So, okay. So what would you give it, Dan?
I would give it I think I'll line up with 7.5. Cool. Because I for all the reasons are already mentioned, that scene on the ship with Nuria is the strongest part of the episode to me. Mm-hmm. Ray Wise can kind of annoy me with when he acts desperate. I never believe it. He has he has a great wild-eyed look, but I never buy his desperation for whatever reason. I don't know. I also found it interesting that there was a portion of the episode, this is pre-Twin Peaks, but he was like, "I need to find Palmer."
That's true. It is kind of funny, right? It's kind of a weird coincidence.
It's weird. It's a weird I'm a Ray Wise character, really broken up over the loss of a loved one. I'm looking for Palmer.
Yeah, it is a pretty funny.
Yeah, it's like there's all these weird little things that like little details that stick out to me just because of the Twin Peaks thing. Yeah, but that's where I land.
Okay, how about you, Sarah? What do you think?
I think I would do a 8.5. This was definitely it's a good episode, really solid. I do like, even for the time period in which this came out, the writers and producers of the show were not afraid to put something like this on television, which I think is really interesting.
Yeah, they outright condemn religion as superstitious.
Yeah, it's pretty.
Yeah, I kind of want to know if there is any sort of like backlash in the public eye, like after this.
I did some looking into it.
I didn't bother to look at it.
As far as I can tell, no, it was pretty.
Oh, that's interesting.
Things happened. Yeah,
I mean, it just means that the right dumb special interest group didn't get wind of it. Basically.
Yeah, and
or they did, and everyone ignored them. So
yeah, I think it had its moments where you're like, okay, like it's a little bumbly and messy, where you're kind of like, you expect a higher level of caution from the crew, but then they kind of seem to mess things up at every turn. But it works for the story, I guess. But I mean, with that said, I mean, I think it definitely works, and it's a pretty solid episode that I think is like your classic Star Trek episode that's going to like talk about
it's a very
lessons
it's a
morals
classic premise.
Yeah. So I did enjoy it, and I enjoyed being outside of the ship for a little bit too.
That's nice too.
Like we're outside in nature, and it was fun to get like a little bit of a different scenery.
Yeah, it's nice to go to the Vasquez
for much of the episode. So
I just realized that I began this episode by saying that one of the reasons why I didn't like how it handled the Prime Directive is because of the Prime Directive episodes that preceded it. But I think I'm kind of turned around on that by now. And the reason for that is one of the problems that I had initially was Picard seems so much angrier this time than before.
Yeah.
But after thinking about it a bit, I was like, well, if he's dealt with this a few times by now,
he's probably
and
like,
the last time they had to deal with it, and the last time they dealt with it, like I had to do my friend a solid. I had to do my friend Data a solid, and we had to go along with this stupid plan. And
we had to kidnap a child and
cover up his stupid mistake. Like I'm so done with this fucking Prime Directive bullshit. And since they couldn't do the memory wipe this time because they tried, like it meant that he had no other choice than to do this instead.
Right.
So like now it makes a little more sense in terms of continuity to me. So I'm like that problem is no longer there for me. So just want to tie that up on my end.
Yeah. I mean, he's just like cat's out of the bag. Fuck it. You know what? He's basically like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just gonna tell everyone everything because I'm getting.
That's all that can happen.
Yeah, the last time we had to fucking kidnap a child, we're not kidnapping any more children. We're just gonna fucking
blame it on Kevin.
All right,
it would have been so much easier.
It's a lot of these stories are just like have Kevin wipe him out, then let's move on. Oh, the sex planet wants to kill Wesley. Oh, just wipe him out and move on.
I think they said that they were part of the Hoosnock. That's like the secret word for you, Kevin. Kevin's like, fuck yeah, I'm going to kill them all.
Hoosnock.
You sound just like him.
He just shows up.
Hoosnock. He has. Kevin had a little bit of a Hoosnock thing going on, right?
Yeah.
A little Hoosnock.
Anyway, that was Who Watches the Watchers.
Wait, Ricardo. We didn't get Ricardo's rating.
I was the first one.
Oh, really? Oops.
Pay attention, Sarah.
Feel free to cut that out.
Way to be present, Sarah.
I think we always forget one person.
Yeah,
that's
always forget one rating that's already occurred.
God damn it.
That's staying in. So that was Who Watches the Watchers.
Cut that out so I don't look down.
We watched it.
No, everything stays in. So yeah.
Wait, hold on. Let's. I'm sorry. I'm just now confused about the title. Who are the Watchers, and who watched the Watchers?
That actually is a question of mine too. Well, who watches the Watchers? Like, I don't understand.
It's essentially a play on so who watches the Watchers? So the last Watchers are the science team in the duck blind. So who's monitoring them? Who's monitoring people like the Federation, where they go and they're watching the Mintakans? Like who's essentially like keeping all this shit in boundaries? So when something goes bad, it doesn't spin out of control.
So
like
is it more of a question? It is a question.
I guess it's like a criticism.
Like, because who is watching the Watchers?
It's 100% criticism against the fact that, like, well, you're so far advanced, yet you're watching these people, but you haven't taken into account what if something goes wrong? Yeah. And now you're going to fuck things up. You're going to have to invoke the Prime Directive in weird ways again and do backflips and try to make everything work. So it's something like, it's like who governs the governors? Kind of a thing,
Yeah. Okay, I like that. I like that title.
Yeah, and I guess in a way,
like your shit don't stink.
I guess in a way, the watcher of the Watchers was Picard, because he kind of made sure that, because if it was up to the scientists, they would have just kept fucking things up and then like busted out of there.
That's a fair point.
So Picard kind of swooped in and was like, "Listen, this is fucked. We're gonna unfuck it, unlike you guys." So. All right. Well, thanks for listening to the podcast, everybody. This is Newbie Star Trek. If you like the shit we were doing, it'd be great if you could head over to Apple Podcasts or wherever else you're listening to this podcast and give us a review, whether it's positive or negative. If you're angry about our tangents into coming and whatnot, let us know.
I mean, I love how you always put this bit at the end of a podcast where either they have hate listened to us for over an hour or enjoyed themselves reasonably.
So so maybe one podcast after we say something really stupid, I'll just respond, "Listen, if you didn't like what we just said, over
there you go.
Turn it off now."
I can,
You're in for a bumpy ride.
No, Ricardo does warn people of that all the time as we're doing.
Sometimes, yes, that is true.
Yeah. But yeah, and also if you want to find us in other places like Newbie Star Trek, we're also on the TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, etc. The social medias. You can find us. It's
TikTok.
Just Newbie Star
Check
Trek.
out our TikTok. You will not be disappointed.
Well, the TikTok's the star because it's a place where you can post up little video content and it's good stuff.
Part of why I'm mentioning YouTube as well is because there's something in the works. We're eventually going to try to get some stuff up on YouTube that's not just the shorts. So we'll see. We'll
as soon as Dan's internet gets back into shape.
We'll get that. We'll get that all going right. And also, if you guys have any questions for us, you can contact us. Send us an email at contact@newbiestartrek.com. And if it's a cool question, we'll read it out loud. Again, that's the email at contact@newbiestartrek.com. And we do have an email this week. It's from our old friend Teabags the Traveler.
Oh yeah,
man. Teabags.
Is this like the third or fourth question of his?
I think it's like the third. Yeah. I don't want to. So I'm sorry, Teabags. Your question is a little bit long, so I'm going to consolidate it a little bit. So, and it was addressed to like different people, but I think we should just address it to everyone. So I'm just going to do that. Is there a specific character that you are excited to see develop moving forward, and why? And also for the people who have seen a lot of the show, are there any characters that you are particularly looking forward to their arc, and or are you connected with the character differently during this experience, and how so? So I guess I can go first, and just for that second question, I see Tasha very differently on rewatch. Because when I first started watching TNG, I actually found Tasha kind of annoying. And the death of, the Venom episode, I thought was like, oh, this is a shitty episode. But for whatever reason, when we rewatched it, I found myself actually quite sad that she died. And I have a more sentimental attachment to her character, I think. So,
but wait a minute, that second part of the question, did it ask which character arc are you most excited to see? Or
it's like, I guess is there? I guess that's only if you know the show more. Is there any character for whom you're particularly looking forward to their arc?
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I'm kind of more excited to see Data stuff happening. Just because Data continues. I can't say Riker because it's a minor spoiler, but Riker kind of has an anti-arc as TNG moves on. So so it's not the best. I don't know. What do you guys think? I'll throw it to
What
the
do you
crowd.
think, Scott?
Well, I guess as coming in as someone who's watched every bit of Star Trek.
Oh yeah. We never said this at the beginning, but Scott is by far the expert out of all the five of us.
Scott is not a newbie. Our guest is definitely not a newbie in any shape or form.
Not at all. He is an expert level professional.
Okay, let's all settle down. I haven't been paid. I haven't been paid for any of my Star Trek watching, but
neither have we.
Yeah. But I'm glad you actually said that. One of the things, I don't know if it's even part of this question, but it makes me think of this question as far as being someone who's watched almost all of Star Trek from the beginning, from the original series and all that. I'm not precious about it. I love it. It's probably my favorite franchise, even over Star Wars or anything. But I'm not precious about it, so I can make fun of it. I can joke and I can laugh and I have a good time with it. And I think
that's a healthy fandom of it, though. I think any healthy fandom isn't precious about their fandom.
I get really upset with people that get mad at all the J.J. Abrams movies, whether they be Star Trek or Star Wars, or I think Star Trek Beyond is very close to being better than Wrath of Khan, in my opinion.
Wow,
I like as far as my favorite Star Trek movie. I just think it is really, really good. So I can appreciate all the things that as long as it's good storytelling. Discovery is really losing me. Picard was not good. So I'm hopeful that the new season will be good. And I guess I say all that to say, as far as where you guys are in the show, there's a character that hasn't shown up yet.
Oh yeah, you were telling us. Yeah.
And I don't know if I even want to spoil who the character is, but he's got, I would say, maybe
the guy from engineering.
Yeah. He's an engineering dude, and he's basically, he sort of is in Star Trek when he shows up. He's sort of the eyes of the audience.
No, really?
Yeah, he's not like, oh, I know everything and I'm going to attack it like this. It's like he has flaws, and he's sort of awkward and uncomfortable and not confident. And he's a really good character, and he's got like a handful of episodes. Shows up in the movies a tiny bit, but he's a really good character, and I'm looking forward to the episodes you guys get to.
Jason Statham. It's Jason Statham.
Yeah. Know what I mean?
Oh, baby.
Let's go to warp. Know what I mean?
It's Jason Statham doing an Elvis impression.
Yes. So I won't reveal. I know I jumped ahead a few times in the episode, but I won't reveal who the character is or whatnot. But he's got some good, and I think I maybe have, as far as some of the episodes, I potentially, if the fans don't write in hate mail about the guest you have, show up once or twice more, do one of his episodes. So
that would be cool. Yeah, that would be a lot of fun to
I'm looking forward to this mystery person,
engineer man.
You like this mystery
I'm down
engineer?
To find out about this mystery engineer man.
Well, as a person who's new, I'm interested in. I'm seeing how Picard develops. I don't know, the one and only, because you can't be captain forever.
Oh,
whoa!
Well, you're
That's
not
a bold
wrong.
assumption.
You're not wrong.
And the leader has to fall at some point.
You're just gonna get shot.
Jesus.
Yeah.
It got dark on.
So I'm interested to see how the natural progression of leadership crumbles, takes a turn. I don't know.
Well, you know what? You don't get through 7 seasons without some especially big problem for the captain.
Yeah,
right.
Well,
of course.
I mean, you probably won't get out of this season without some big.
And I'm particularly interested in people that challenge Picard, and if that happens more at all. At all.
Oh, you'll see.
So
oh my God, yeah.
That's what I'm interested in.
Oh, you'll see.
Cool.
So we'll see.
Oh,
Teabags to answer your question.
Teabag. Well, I just flashed in my brain like 3 or 4 just like different shots of different episodes of shit that Picard goes through. So there's a lot going on.
Good stuff.
Oh yeah. Ricardo, what do you think?
I guess, always Worf. because he likes to party, man.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, that's the next episode, actually.
Yeah.
We're going to see way more of
Worf or that's basically it.
You're not interested in anyone else.
No,
you're only here for Worf.
Now that Tasha's gone, you're kind of you switched over to
Worf is my number one guy.
The security
Tapatio hot hands.
Yeah,
yes, security.
Yeah, you lean into the security chiefs.
Yeah.
Well, that's the next episode. That's a good segue there. We're gonna next episode do the bonding. But yeah. I guess before.
Wait, I haven't gone yet.
Oh, you haven't? Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so
dude.
sorry. Please.
We forgot somebody.
I'll be the guy who says like, okay, I always hear about how Wesley's the worst, but I also hear about how Wesley is the worst at the beginning. So I am interested to see how he develops over time, to see if he just fades away and that's why he's not so bad, or if he actually develops into something like significant or cool. The other thing that I want to know about is any holodeck generated person.
Oh,
we got Moriarty.
Shit.
We got.
Moriarty. It was very strongly hinted at that it's not the last.
Yeah, they save stated him.
Yeah,
they hit Shift F1 on him.
Yeah,
and he's sitting around waiting to come back. So I want to see Moriarty again.
Unfortunately, Pulaski's gone, so we're not gonna.
I was gonna say Pulaski as a joke because I know she doesn't come back.
Yeah,
but
wait, she's gone. She's gone for good.
She died, dude.
Unfortunately,
she did.
Yeah,
she's dead now, probably.
Diana Muldaur. Wait,
no, she's not. No, she's not. She's not.
Really?
Yeah.
Should get her on the show, dude. It's like apologize for saying she was
83 years old.
Wait, she's 83. Damn.
She's still
alive. Oh my God!
Holy
please, God, protect the Picard.
Please.
Protect the Picard. Please protect Diana Muldaur for the next week or so, so that we don't have to have an awful cut in like. Hey guys, we're sorry, but we mentioned Diana Muldaur.
Oh God, please, God, please. No, the Picard.
One day
please.
that sort of shit's gonna happen to us. I'm just trying to get us prepared.
We're
bound
sorry.
to happen. Yeah,
just preemptively, we're sorry for everything. I'm sorry.
Preemptively at the end of the episode.
We're sorry. Bye.
Preemptive for the next episode.
There you go.
All right. Well, that was our discussion of who watches the Watchers, not the Watchmen.
Thanks for joining us, Scott. It was great having you.
Yes, I want to say a special thank you to Scott for joining us. We loved having you on, and I hope you will join us again.
I'd love to. Yeah, thanks for having me. I love talking Star Trek like this.
We learned a lot.
It's just
we have that list of episodes that you pointed out. So
I thought you were going somewhere else with that. I was like, we got that list of adult themed Star Trek movies that you gave us.
I mean, you joke. He has a list.
Oh,
no.
God.
We've seen his list.
He has a spreadsheet.
I do have a spreadsheet. So I very, very quickly, and this isn't something I came up with on my own. It's something I got off the internet many years ago, where it's watching Star Trek in chronological order in the world of Star Trek. So it's starting with Enterprise and then going into the original series, the animated series, and then you get into you flip flop episodes when you get into later seasons of Next Gen and Deep Space Nine and all that, because they're all happening at the same time, and there's certain context clues where you can watch. You know when to watch certain episodes before another episode because they'll reference something else. And it's pretty wild. Yeah.
I guess I imagine if you got deep into it, you would have had to like kind of keep track, if you wanted to keep track of it as a fan and be like, oh, that was what that was referencing from that.
Yeah. So. Because it's all just, back in the day, they weren't doing serialized TV. It was all just episodic. And that was some of the problems with the writers of Next Gen. They wanted to reference things, but when you're doing it syndicated, you just want to sell individual episodes. So if you're referencing something, it fucks up the audience. So they had all those kind of problems. So that's why I like the later series of Star Trek more.
Yeah, where they just weren't afraid of it. They saw Babylon 5 and were like, "Oh fuck, let's just do it."
Yeah, let's do Deep Space
Nine.
I
never knew that others like latter series of Star Trek tended to
DS9
be more
specifically
serialized.
Yeah, Voyager is more episodic, but DS9 is very, very like we have arcs for seasons.
Yeah, the latter half, latter half of DS9 is essentially all serialized, and Enterprise. True, Enterprise season 3 is essentially one long storyline.
That's true. Yeah, I'd forgotten. That's been so long since I've seen Enterprise. That's true. Yeah.
So and Deep Space Nine is my favorite Star Trek. I know that's really controversial.
I totally understand. I really love Deep Space Nine.
Yeah, I like flawed characters. It's better television. It's better drama. I know that's not the point of Star Trek. I get it. But totally
that's the
understand.
Thing. The original series. So okay, as far as I understand it, the original series didn't have that mandate. It was more of like a TNG mandate, right?
Well, he basically, the point was none of the conflict can be within the crew. All of the conflict had to come from outside.
But didn't TOS have crew conflict?
Not a ton of it.
Okay.
It was when someone had a goatee on.
Yeah, exactly. They would go to the evil universe, or it was kind of an alien of the week or a planet of the week kind of a thing.
Okay.
So it wasn't internal; it was all external because he felt that the humans of the future would have grown beyond this kind of conflict, and that was a big problem with the first.
No. I can tell you right now. Nope.
I totally get it. And that's why like the first 3 or 4 seasons of Next Gen they had a lot of problems, the writers and Roddenberry as him kind of going, no, we can't tell that story because we're beyond that. They would be like,
literally grabbing scripts away from people and rewriting them. Yeah.
So, but they're like, no, this is a fucking great story. I want to tell the story. And so that's why the later seasons,
because like doing that is denying humanity itself. And you can't really write stories about people with that mandate firmly in place.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. So
yeah, I mean, I can't we said it during the Measure of a Man episode, but I can't believe he almost killed that episode just because he said the future doesn't have lawyers.
Can you imagine a universe without lawyers?
Yeah, we'd all probably be fucked over.
Well, there's an episode in TOS where there's lawyers, where it's it's a lawyer about
it's the one where he's in the black chair, right? He's stuck.
No.
That's a court martial. It's
the court martial. There's another one where Scotty is possessed by Jack the Ripper's ghost.
Oh. I forgot about this concept. I haven't seen this episode, but I remember this concept.
And so there's a lawyer that helps to get him out of that too. So there's a couple of lawyer episodes. It wasn't. It was a ghost that made Jack the Ripper happen that then made Scotty kill somebody. Spoilers: he didn't do it. But
what the fuck?
Yeah.
Oh
fantastic.
Wow!
Yeah, wow!
Oh, Gene. Oh, Gene.
Oh, Gene.
Is he alive? Is he alive still? Wait, he's not alive yet.
No, he passed away quite a while ago. Yeah, they spread his ashes in orbit. Yeah.
Are you serious?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Okay. Well, that's a cool way to distribute your ashes.
Whoa, that's fucking cool.
But with that said, I'm gonna say right here, Gene Parmesan's way better than Gene Roddenberry.
Gene!
You're not wrong.
Gene!
Well, everyone, thanks for listening to the podcast, and thank you, Scott, for coming on board.
Thank you.
If you've been liking the conversations we've been having, we do other things. Just real quick, we'll go through them. We have the Fugitive Frames Film Podcast. That commentary track of The Matrix should be out by the time this episode comes out, if I remember to put it up correctly. Cool. So that'll be fun. We watched The Matrix, Dan, Ricardo, and I, but Ricardo had to drop out halfway through. But we ended up watching the whole thing, and it was fun. Matrix is one of my favorite movies ever, and we had a good time rewatching it and being like, "See, look, Jesus reference."
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah,
another one.
And every so often you hear Marvin say, "That's so cool."
It's true.
If you want Marvin hype, watch him watch The Matrix.
The movie's fucking amazing. So there's that, and then when Matrix Resurrections comes out, we're gonna talk about that, and it'll either be very wow, I can't believe that worked out, or oh well, what do we expect? That'll be that.
Well, let's hope for the best.
Yeah, I'm hoping for the best.
It's dancing on a razor's edge. That movie for sure.
Well, we'll see.
I'm super hopeful, but expecting. Oh boy.
Yeah,
we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. And we also have our YouTube channel, Fugitive Games, where we play video games. It's been a while since we played games on there, but we're gonna get back to it. The next thing we're gonna do is gonna do another installment of our Paper Mario Origami King adventure, which was a lot of fun. We should really get back on that bike and
And somewhere along the way, you might see random live streams pop in.
Yeah, you might go to Deltarune. So if you're Deltaruning, I'll join you, and we'll
it might be some Deltarune, might be some Grace Attorney, might be something else entirely. Who knows?
Yeah, we'll see. And all that shit, you can just find it at fugitiveframes.com. So that's fugitiveframes.com. That just has a bunch of links that leads to everything. Like I said, next time we're going to go watch The Bonding. If all goes according to plan, and I think they are, we're going to have another guest next week, a different guest. Scott will be back, but not next week. For The Bonding, we're going to have another guest. And that'll be a lot of fun. But Scott, again, thank you so much for joining us. It was a blast. It's, when we talk in person, like on, our random dinners and whatnot, that's a lot of fun too. But this is also a lot of fun. So thanks for joining us.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
And let me just throw this out there.
Awesome.
Scott is the best cat sitter.
I hear cats in the background. Or am I going bananas right now?
Bernie's yelling at me right now.
Is Bernie crying?
Yeah, he's crying. He's crying. He knows I'm talking to Scott. So
Vader went. I think Vader went in the other room. He's just like, I cannot listen to this guy talk.
Yeah. If you want, Scott is a professional with animals and just the best cat sitter.
That's very nice to say. No, I'm looking forward to watching them this weekend. And no, thanks for having me on the podcast. I've loved listening to the few episodes. I've listened to the ones that Sarah's been on just because Sarah's my connection to the podcast, and it's like, oh, that's a familiar voice that I know.
Heck yeah!
I say stupid things.
Yeah, well, it's No. You. It's great because being newbies to Star Trek, you ask questions that I wouldn't think to ask.
Yeah, that is my it's part of the real point. Like,
what's a Vulcan?
Well, that's a good question because to be frank, Vulcans didn't show up very much in TNG to begin with. So you hadn't seen that many of the previous seasons where a Vulcan did show up. So it's like, it's not a bad question, honestly.
Especially when it shows up like randomly.
Vulcans so far.
Like they randomly say, "Oh, they're proto-Vulcans." Why is that important for you to say in an episode? And then you got to investigate it and find out, and you learn something more. So it's really interesting to see it, and in all the franchises that I love, watching people have first reactions to movies that I've grown up with in my life, and it's
absolutely.
I didn't see that, and I love the fact that people come in. We grow up when these movies come out, like when the sequel trilogies come out, and you have all these expectations. Matrix, we have all these expectations about it, right? But when someone in 20 years watches all 4 of those movies, they're not going to give a shit about expectations because they're going to watch them back to back, so they're not going to bring in all this baggage. And so I like listening to people kind of explore the shows that I've grown up and loved and kind of get like, oh yeah, maybe I did hold on to that thing a little too long, and now I see it through a fresh eyes. Oh, it was really stupid for me to hold on to that idea because it's obviously not that important.
Yeah.
Well, that or thank God new people can like this because that means I'm not crazy.
It still holds true. Holds
also
up.
A valid point. Yeah.
I mean, that's my secret, thing I like about this is I'm vicariously re-experiencing all these.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for everyone for listening. We'll see you guys next time. Stay safe. See you around.
Safe. Catch you next time.
Bye.
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 You know the rules. Fuck.
There's always the holodeck.
Set phasers to come.
Oh yeah! I like Scott's.
Okay, well, that just made it for real. That's your job.
Yeah, that's real now.